On a night where many are trick-or-treating, the city of Las Vegas might have only tricks. For those that aren't familiar with this 1.5-mile racetrack, it is fast. It is nearly flat out in the area truck series machines. And tonight it might not be so sweet for those that are competing on this second round of the season in the 17-round area truck series. Welcome back to SimTV. Kyle Heyer joined by Connor Horn for round two. Last week we were at the high banks of Daytona International Speedway. This week we start a West Coast swing. Las Vegas this week, Connor, and last night we saw lots of what I would call landlocked action where drivers got stuck in big packs of racing. Will we see the same tonight in this race?
I think we're going to see a little bit similar to that. We saw last season how wild this race was, and now we're going for a race on Halloween, so it can only get more wild. We saw a lot of full throttle racing in the Season 4 race in the Truck Series, so I wouldn't be surprised to see it get really packed up. And I think it's going to be more of a battle at the front than what we saw last night.
Yeah, maybe the full moon this evening as far as racing goes. As we head down to the racetrack here in just a moment's time, we'll get qualifying underway for you in a moment, but some quick track facts here. Last night, Las Vegas, Nevada, home to 2 million and a tourist spot for many more. This week, the SEMA Festival happening in Las Vegas, Nevada, big automotive trade show essentially. Built in the late 1990s, track length 1.5 miles around this speedway, of course 4 turns. And Las Vegas, fun fact of the day is that this racetrack was constructed in 1996 at a cost of $72 million. Of course, probably be a lot more than that today if they were to repeat the same thing. It'd probably be covered in a lot more LEDs and lighting, I'll tell you that. As we complete practice here in just a moment's time, Connor, 120 laps around here. We've got a fuel window that's just shy of halfway. Could drivers try to save fuel and make it on one stop?
I think it's going to be really tough. I think the Cup tanks, which are a little bit bigger than Xfinity and trucks, they could probably go about 63, 64 if we got a long enough run, which we didn't last night. I think it's going to be really tough to be able to do that, but I would not be surprised to see people try that are maybe just going to be running in the pack, because I think we're going to see some more packed up racing. The track temp is not going to be very high, similar to what we saw yesterday with low track temp and a lot of shade over the track. So I think we're going to see a lot of drivers just sitting at the back of the pack, maybe trying to save fuel. I think it's going to be very tough to do that.
Yeah, I think what we saw last night was really cool track temps, as you mentioned, and that led to pretty high grip scenarios, especially at the end of the race as the sun got lower in the sky. We should expect the racetrack to be pretty dark by the end of this as well. We should be racing into the lights here just a little bit in 120 laps worth of racing. Qualifying is about to get underway, so we'll head down to the racetrack here and get qualifying coverage done for you here this evening. As we get into qualifying, race fans, be sure to subscribe to the Area iRacing Twitch channel. As a subscriber, you'll have Area iRacing emotes to use in the chat, and you can also earn double channel points as a subscriber that you can use to redeem for free merchandise, all at the price of just $5 a month. That's twitch.tv/Area iRacing. So cars headed down to the racetrack right now, and sounds like James Shainwolf and John Hall are a couple of the first drivers to get out there. John Hall, of course, last week, getting it done at Daytona, Connor. Off to a very good start.
It wasn't really a fluky win either. He was at the front all race long, was able to get to the front and keep the lead when it mattered after the big crash in the turn number 3. He looked really strong, so we'll see how strong he is on the other tracks. 1.5 miles coming up this week, and we'll see what he can do. He's probably the first of our 43 trucks that are going to get on track for qualifying tonight.
It is a full field, as it was last night. We sent a couple drivers home last evening in the Cup Series. So very strong fields to start the season. Had, what do we have, 4 or 5 yellows last night, but all pretty spaced out with a couple rapid-fire ones towards the end, as you would typically expect. But green run the last 20 laps there at Las Vegas last night. Here comes John Hall across the line. Average speed, 178.815. For now, it'll be at the top of the board. James Shainwolf comes home just shy of that in the number 01. That's the elite truck there. Ryan Swan is on track, Gatlin Downey, and many more.
Gatlin Downey came across the line, 30.9. Ryan Swan's going to also come across the line in his number 20 truck. He goes second, 30.768. As a few drivers going out immediately. Joshua Balliet has just started his lap, I believe.
Yeah.
He's going to try to get another lap in. Not surprised to see a lot of drivers waiting. That track temp, the sim time, the way it is right now, it's very late in the sim day. So I think we're going to see a lot of drivers wait till the very end.
Yeah, why would you do that? Because as the sun goes down, the track will grip up. You might lose a couple degrees of temperature, and that might be all it takes with how close the times are expected to be in qualifying here tonight. There's Joshua Valiette in the 0-7 as he comes across the stripe at 30.701. That's good enough for second.
And you got to be careful if you're at open truck, because it very easily could have another truck join in the next 2 minutes and qualify, and that would put one driver out. But for now, like we said, it's a completely full 43 truck field as Adam Capps came across the line, clocked into 5th position. There's not too many other drivers on track. Mark Brannigan Jr. is going to start his lap, and right now, he's the only one doing anything on track.
Yeah, I think it'll be a bit more of a frantic qualifying session at the tail end, as you pointed out earlier. You only have one lap, and you've got 7 more minutes to do it, so you just need to roll with about a minute and 15, minute 20. Just give yourself enough time and a mulligan opportunity if you make a mistake on the outlap. Again, it's been pretty critical to get a good outlap rolling as well, especially at Daytona, but even places like here. If you get a slow launch out of the pit lane, it will affect you. These trucks have power, but not a ton of it, mid 500 horsepower range. So you've got to really get up to speed and build that momentum early before you start the timing and scoring clock.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot more. Qualifying still going to be key like a super speedway, because we're going to expect the track's going to really cool down. We're going to be full throttle. Brannigan across the line 6th on time, so we're going to see a lot of full throttle action, a lot of pack action. So it's still similar to Daytona, like you said, where the Q effort is going to make such a big difference in where you finish. It's going to be hard once again to get through the field as Austin Gack-Jones comes across the line 3rd. Great lap for the 41 Ford F-150, but yeah, it's going to play big dividends if you can get off pit road well.
So Austin Gack-Jones in the number 41 up to P3. We've got Kyle Sieg joining us once again here this season. Was with us a few times last year, or last, I guess, season 4, we should say, the 5th season of the Area Series. And always ran pretty well, but just kind of got caught up in other people's messes. But the Night Owl 39 accelerating up to pace, and we'll see what he's got. As it looks like Matt Sharp is also on track, so is Travis Beckner, the Area 500 winner this season. Justin Anisogak is also on course. Here comes Kyle Sieg to start his lap.
Quietly solid season, 22nd in points in the actual Xfinity Series with a top 5, not top 5, excuse me. He has a top 10 to his name. So, like you said, joining us again, see what he can do. Runs as much as he can for this series.
And I was going to say, with the real NASCAR season coming to a close, allows you a bit more time to dedicate towards the sim stuff as Travis Beckner goes to the top by 1,000th of a second.
By the way, remember we were talking about one more driver joining and throwing things out of whack for the open trucks. I think Case Lakatos is trying to join late, so we might very well send someone home. But I think Lakatos might be one of those open trucks. No, he is not. He is chartered, but there are a few drivers who are probably sweating now that there's 44 trucks in here.
Kyle Sieg up to 3rd, got bumped to 4th as Anisogak goes to the top by a couple hundredths of a second. And Jake Matheson, last night's winner in the Cup Series side, led almost 100 laps and went on to go to victory lane. And it was 2 for 2 for the Miller Racing cars so far to start the season.
Yeah, they're very strong. Going to be hard to beat in all 3 series if you count low dollar racing. As Matheson goes to the top of the board by about 100th and a half over Justin Anisogak, who clocked into 2nd, who clocked into the pole briefly there. So solid lap for the 88, but Matheson's on point.
And this is Braxton Deweese. Got the sponsor on the side again. This truck, this paint scheme, is in memory of Randolph Allen, the father of Randy Allen, the owner of Allen's Arts Images, 1951 to 2023. And saddened by the loss of Randolph Allen here this week is that family and friends group. But great looking livery on this car in memoriam of Randolph. And here comes Deweese. Let's see what he's got in this Ford F-150.
Here he has a very low exit, 30.713. He's going to put him 9th, so solid effort for that 13 F-150 as we had a lot of drivers take a time there. Gary Waterworth went 10th. Trying to see a few others went out there. Tom Bourne crossed the line 6th not too long ago, and here's Eric Weiland. Not really our in-race reporter, but if we wanted to have one, he'd probably be the one. He'll come out of turn number 2, another low exit. Trying to stay off that wall, because you're against that wall like he is there, it can really slow you down.
Mason Kane up to 3rd, gets bumped by JT Poole. Lots of late comers here in qualifying, as we expected. Jason Dalton, Colin Fambrough, 12th and 13th. And Wineland across the stripe at 178.6 miles an hour. That will land him in 8th, just ahead of Danny Ware. And the timing and scoring is lighting up right now with a very busy qualifying session. Here's Brad Slaughter Jr. in the number 8 Lumar Toyota. Here he comes out of 4.
Seeing so many, look how low these guys are exiting. They're almost on the very bottom out of turn number 4, but it's clearly working. Slaughter just went 4th on the board. I think he tied with Mason Kane almost. So close between those two. I think he did tie. There's also a tie for 2nd. If we need more examples on how close it is, that just shows it. It's Joey Chapman, one of those open trucks trying to make this field now.
There's your example of your intervals there. 0.000 between Anisogak and Poole, and again between Slaughter and Kane, as you pointed out, Connor. Here comes Joey Chapman across the stripe in the number 60 Toyota. 178.389 miles an hour. It's a 30.722. Will land him 21st. Nathan Jump, Bryce Senesac, and many others still to go. About a half dozen on the track right now.
Yeah, I was kind of not surprised by this at all. We knew it would be a flurry of drivers as Nathan Jump goes into turn number 3 on his lap, trying to wrap that white line. We're going to see so many drivers do that, but we're also going to see drivers hit that apron. That white line goes away, and so many drivers hit that turn 4 apron. It could be a factor tonight as Nathan Jump goes right inside the top 10.
Into P10 by 1/1000th of a second over Eric Wineland. Bronson Stafford rolling through turn 4 in the area shop Toyota Tundra TRD Pro, and it's going to be a 178.774. That's a 30.656. That's good enough for 8th. Greg Mitchell, as he rolls down the back straightaway. There's Matthew Rodriguez in 3 and 4 as well. But here comes James Scioli, reigning champion, across the stripe. What's it going to be? It's a 30.677. That'll tie him for 11th with Nathan Jump.
It's maybe a little adjustment for James this season, a lot further back. And I say a lot further back. It's still 11th. It's still a solid qualifying run.
So here's an interesting thing. I'm not sure if it'll show us on the graphics as well, but looking down in between Jump and Scioli, my timing and scoring, I've never seen that, is completely blanked out. It's not even .000. It is blank, which tells me that is a tie down to at least the 100,000, which I think is deep as iRacing scoring goes, is to the 100,000th. They don't show you that here, but I think in telemetry you can get it to go that far. But that is an actual tie, a true tie for 12th place between Scioli and Nathan Jump. That is exceptional, and that is the end of qualifying as well. It's Jake Matheson and Justin Anisogak on pole on the front row for this one.
Yeah, they get the front row, and I won't know for sure until we get told, but with 44 entries, I believe Gatlin Downey might be the one to miss the field. He was one of those go homers, and we saw him go out early, probably thinking he was locked in, and that's not the case. So I think he might be the one going home. He clocked in 39th on time.
Yeah, open cars. It looks like Gatlin Downey is one of those, and right, we saw Braxton DeWeese. He is an open truck, but he is in. So is Gary Waterworth on speed. Is Justin Munsell here tonight? Didn't see him.
I don't see him.
So he will not be factored in. Donald Ray I didn't see as well. So I think you're right. It should be the Gatlin Downey machine, the number 35, one of the rookies here this season. Carter Koop, Bobby Tinch, Joey Chapman, Kyle Sieg, and Justin Munsell are the open cars that have experience here in the Area Truck Series. And it is the 35 of Gatlin Downey going home tonight, unfortunately.
It's very crushing, but we're going to see this for a few more weeks. This is still kind of unprecedented territory for all the Area Series to be sending people home every single race, and we're still going on that. So it is unfortunate for Gatlin Downey. All
comes down to qualifying. You know, we talked in the past about how in these races, qualifying isn't the end-all be-all, but if you're not in the show, you can't race for the win. So it does matter quite a bit. And we saw last night, Connor, I think qualifying last night mattered a lot. We saw a lot of movement and drivers going up and down the order, but we also saw it take drivers a while to get there. It took them almost the entire race. You had to drive through the field a couple of times last night. There was others that had to do the same. I think it's going to be similar tonight, where passing is going to be possible, but challenging, and it might rely on strategy and some yellows to get lucky to move your way forward.
Yeah, I wouldn't be very surprised to see the same sort of race at all, and a lot less power, so you're not going to be able to get as big of runs, but we are still going to see tire wear come into play where you're going to be pack racing, but with the tires falling off even more than we saw last week, it's going to be tough. Like you said, I had to drive through the field a few times. It was extremely tough to make passes happen 15th on back because it's just a 2 wide, 3 wide, at points 4 wide brawl with all these cars all on top of each other. Yusuf Ghali was able to get completely through the field to almost a top 5 finish. Jake Nichols almost ran for the win. He was back in like 25th at one point in the very first run. So it's possible to do so and get up there, but it's going to take you a while. So you cannot put yourself in the back over and over again.
You can't. And again, as we saw last night, passing was a bit of a challenge. And you mentioned the horsepower as well. Let's talk about the track changing as well over the course of the night. We never really saw the high lane build in last night in the rubber. It was there, you could defend with it, but you couldn't pass with it. And without extra horsepower tonight, and in fact, you're down a couple hundred, I think passing on the high side is going to be even more challenging. But if you can get pinched on the bottom, then you go backwards too. So it feels like a no-win game, right, Connor?
It's kind of what it feels like. So many drivers. I know Cameron Hearn. I know I was up there. A few drivers. Even Beckner might have been on the 3rd lane trying to get something going at both ends of a track. It's just, like you said, not rubbering up enough, at least last night. And like you said, it's really just a defensive line in that middle lane because you can't really get to someone's right rear to pass them. So it's really going to be tough to do so. Everyone's going to have to get creative tonight.
Race fans, start your engines with a fresh cup of Roasted Gems coffee. Choose from some of the finest coffee beans from Colombia and Peru, or try the blended flavors of French vanilla and hazelnut. Use discount code Area iRacing for 10% off your order at roastedgems.com. All right, let's roll through the starting lineup. On the front row, it's Jake Matheson in the number 52. It's Justin Anasogak that'll start alongside them both in Chevy Silverados.
3rd place is going to be JT Poole in the 26, and then Brad Slaughter Jr., the 2-time truck champ, starting 4th.
And 5th place is Mason Kane in the number 31. And Travis Beckner, the Area 500 winner, starts 6th in the 28.
7th place is the Daytona winner, John Hall, in that 03 Silverado alongside Bronson Stafford, who finished 41st at Daytona. He needs to turn it around.
And David Weissart starts in 9th in the number 33. And it's Greg Mitchell starting 10th in the number 2 truck.
11th place, 24, Michael Kerhan. We'll look at his sign a little later. And then 12th place, the champion, reigning champ, James Scioli.
And 13th place, Nathan Jump in the number 9 Ford F-150. Eric Wineland starts 14th in the number 21 truck.
15th place, the 49, Danny Ware, and then Sam Fontaine in the 71 Silverado at 16th.
Tom Bourne rolls off 17th place. Kyle Sieg 18th in the number 39.
19th place, Sean Petchin in the 69 Chevy Silverado. It's a pretty nice starting position. Joshua Balliet starts 20th.
And 21st place, Jason Dalton in the number 02. Colin Fambro 22nd in the number 18.
23rd, Braxton DeWeese in that special paint scheme we highlighted, starting 23rd. 24th place, Gary Waterworth.
And starting in 25th place, it's Joey Chapman in the number 60. Matthew Rodriguez starts 26th in the number 51.
27th place to 41, the F-150 Austin Gack Joan. 28th place, Bryce Senesac.
And 29th place is Alex Cummings in the 63. Ben Pierce starts 30th in the number 65.
And 31st, Dwayne Culberson. 32nd, Garrett Grant. And we don't even have enough time to get through all the other runners, unfortunately.
And we will not. We'll show them to you. It's 120 laps. It is about 1 hour if we go green from start to finish. That is unlikely, but it is possible here in the Area Truck Series. Round number 2 from Las Vegas on Halloween. Here we go. The 31st of October in Sin City. Is it tricks or is it treats for the drivers on the front row? Green flag, and we're racing in Vegas. Brad Slaughter through the middle, 3 wide for second place behind Matheson. Man. That's tight. Where does the 28 of Beckner go?
I don't know, but they're already 3 and 4 wide. This is dicey. I saw someone slide out of turn 4, hit the apron, but they did save it. Slaughter got himself to second, but he's sliding up the racetrack right in front of that Calusa Pines Silverado Beckner. He almost made more contact.
Really frantic early moments here. We know how tight things can get in traffic. Up front, they've mostly gotten themselves sorted into nice 2 even lines. Here's Tom Bourne in the 16. Pointed his way deep into the playoffs last season. And 17th so far tonight. We'll see if he's got opportunity to move forward as we ride on board with him into turn 1 underneath Eric Wineland in the Ford F-150 to his outside.
a different situation for Borden this season, being one of those open trucks, and it's clearly mattering so far at the beginning of this season. But a 17th starting spot got him easily into the show, and like you said, he's just going to try to find a way to keep his nose clean and get to the front in that way, try to go for another deep playoff run. But we always talk about it, you need to get some wins, and he hasn't been able to compete for any of them yet, but he's going to try too hard tonight. He was very fast at Vegas last season.
Listen, Sogak trying to cheat up the racetrack there just a touch and try to explore that outside groove. As we mentioned, the outside lane last night, you could defend with it, you could pinch someone down with it, but it didn't seem like you could go up there and really make aggressive passes, at least not up by the outside wall. It was more a factor of just not being on the bottom rather than using the outside lane to your full advantage as you typically would. The track never really came in. I think a lot of it was due to those cooler track temps. It is just as cool today, if not a bit cooler, and we're racing into the nighttime.
Yeah, that's what's going to play a much bigger factor. Racing into the nighttime is going to make it so much faster and so much more frantic, because you're going to be staying even more packed up than what we're seeing right now. You're going to see drivers probably bump drafting a lot more once the night settles in and the lights come on, so it could get even more frantic as the sun sets.
Jake Matheson led 99 laps last night in the Cup Series race, went on to win that after a fierce battle against Seth Knoll in the 73 of Jake Nichols. But so far tonight, already kind of doing a victory lap on last night with a couple extra out front early in this one.
Ooh, throwing in a wall back there hard out of turn 2. I cannot see
Hall.
who it was.
It's John Hall, and he's left the server, bailed out, didn't want to cause the yellow. And again, he's locked in by virtue of that win from Daytona. That was a smart call, maybe a bit premature, but just got in the fence and Alt F4, he's out.
I think that looked like hardware. Looking back at it from my point of view, he never turned out of turn 2. So I think that was hardware and just getting out of the way. So good on him if he did manually do it. Either way.
Ooh, Brad Slaughter sneaking up to the outside of Travis Beckner. Didn't really knock before he entered there, did he?
You know, I'm not too surprised to see him being aggressive. He made that 3-wide move before we even got to turn 3 on lap number 1. And we know how they're probably going to race Beckner extremely aggressively like he did, like he usually does. And remember last season at Vegas how aggressive he got into the battle with Scioli, ended up crashing out late in that race. So you already know how aggressive it's going to get between some of these drivers.
Danny Ware in the 49 on the underside of Eric Wineland in the 21. There's Wineland that we've got on board now on the right. There's Bronson Stafford and then Nathan Jump on the bottom. This is all a battle just outside the top 10 for 11th spot.
Yeah, they're battling up there. Meanwhile, there's the battle for 4th is staying side by side, and Anna Sogak's looking really squirrely on that top side. I think it's probably because of David Weishart trying to shove him out of the corners. When someone's on your bumper like that, no matter what car or track combo it is, you're gonna get loose. You're gonna get the air up on the spoiler, get just really sideways and lose all that downforce. So it's a hard thing to keep up with if you're in Sogak.
Michael Curhan in the number 24, up a few spots. His sign tonight, what's everyone for Halloween? I'm dressed as a wannabe pro e-NASCAR driver. What he says.
Dressed as Alan Bestwick, that's mine.
I'd like to think Mike Joy. Maybe looking more like him than being like him, but it's all right.
I don't have the hair like Bestwick did.
No, you do not. You've got hair. He had plaster.
well over secrets, I guess. We just burst Allen's.
This battle this is just like last night, just packed up, not really anywhere to go. Last night, drivers were jokingly referring to it as Talavegas, and I think in a lot of ways that's a pretty true statement. You're racing this more like a super speedway than you are an intermediate. Of course, as the tires burn off, you'll have to start lifting a lot more, but right now it's almost flat out, and Slaughter really tight up underneath Beckner there in 3 and 4, and the same is true with Poole and Anna Sogak in the background.
I think even 10 laps in with the clean air, Jake Matheson might still be full throttle. He pulls out a gap in the corners, but Beckner and Slaughter get right back to the 52 because of how strong the draft is. The draft is still going to be very strong until you get to the Pro Series on Thursday night, but it's definitely going to play factors. Anna Sogak almost got squeezed to the wall by Slaughter, and Beckner basically shoving Matheson into turn number 3.
Yeah, the only car out of the racer with any trouble at all was John Hall. Again, with that collision at the exit of turn 2. Everyone else obviously still running, still without damage. But it's getting pretty racy up here for the front. Matheson's not been able to get away. But I'm sure they're glad to just be clear, as behind them, behind Beckner, it's still an all-out brawl there for third, fourth, and beyond.
The brawl for third, fourth, and fifth. There's 2x2 ninth on back. If you go even further back, it's pretty packed up for about 27th place. There's battles pretty much all over the racetrack.
And as a spectator, that's real fun to watch. As a driver, Connor, as you experienced last night, it can be really frustrating because it doesn't feel like you've got a lot of maneuverability. You're kind of stuck, and it takes a lot of effort to move forward.
Oh, man.
It takes very little effort to move backwards.
Beckner almost had a moment. He had to really lift out of the gas, and that lets Anna Sogak get up the second. So starting to see those guys who were at the front at the very beginning, Beckner and Slaughter, start to fall back a little bit. I thought just Anna Sogak was struggling. He did slide out of 4 there, but he and Weishart have worked their way up to second and third. And I still think you're right. There's not a lot of maneuverability. You go to the bottom, you're trapped, because you try to put someone 3 wide, you're not going to go anywhere on the bottom. So it's just such a guessing game on which line's going to move.
Look at Weishart having a run here at the 88. Going to give him a shot down the back straightaway. Started 9th. He's up to P3. That's good early run pace. We saw comers and goers last night, and one of them was Yusuf Ghali, who just charged through the field, but he got all the way to it and couldn't really ever wrestle it away. And I think Weishart might be in that camp tonight.
Just have to see. Matheson, it's still only like a 10th and a half, but it's probably the biggest gap of the night. And he's not really playing the air either. He's just, consistently going to that bottom line, not trying to block the 88 up in dirty air or anything like that. And I think we're going to see a lot of that again, where someone can get to the front, but it's so hard to get to the race lead once you're up there. So Anna Sogak's going to struggle to do anything with Matheson, I think.
JT Poole tried to clear himself off the nose to Kurhan. Couldn't quite get there. Kurhan keeps the door open to the outside into turn 1. We've seen a lot of accidents entering turn 1 with drivers kind of clearing themselves right. Something you also see a lot at Kansas for some reason is 2 drivers side by side and then kind of washing out to the outside edge of the road to turn into for 1, and they just come together.
It has to do with the apron. Such a wide apron at Kansas. It's not as wide here at Vegas, and you're not even really going to use it tonight unless you get such a big run on someone. But it's all about that apron where you kind of lose track of how wide your entry to turn number 1 is. You see that happen at Atlanta too. And that makes sense because Atlanta, even with the dog legs, that front straightaway is so wide, but you narrow up almost a lane entering turn number 1. So it really catches people by surprise.
Yeah, Mason Kane making another start tonight. Last night was only his, I believe, his first Cup Series race. The first time he'd ever driven the Cup Series car outside of Daytona, which was a pretty shocking fact despite how well he had been running. And tonight in the truck that he's got a bit more experience in. Going the wrong direction though, up down to 11th after starting 5th. And this race is ticking away pretty quick, 20 laps in nearly. About halfway to that pit window. Maybe a third of the way to the pit window. I think drivers are going to try to get to that 60 lap mark. It seems reasonable enough to save 3 or 4 laps worth of fuel. So if you can make it a one-stop race, you're going to do it.
The only issue with it is that there's not really enough off. Oh, they're boring just about. I think that was Kane again. But I think the issue with it is that there's so much on throttle time and such a lack of getting off the throttle at all. Even when the tires are wearing, I highly doubt these drivers are fully lifting at the throttle. I think that's why we're probably not going to see drivers able to go 60 laps, because you just can't give up that time by lifting that much.
Yeah, it's really a half lift, if anything. You're not fully committing out of the throttle. It also just helps the balance of the truck. You're not just going to jump out of the gas because you'll shift weight too far forward too quickly. It can wear out that right rear tire, so you'll probably just lift a little bit just to set the nose, and then as soon as it's set, you're back in throttle again. I think you're right. That will be a challenge to save fuel tonight. And if you do start to save fuel, I imagine it will be pretty apparent just based on the drop-off in pace. Up front, though, Matheson and Anna Sogak are beginning to set themselves free of that big pack that we were watching at the start, which is good news for the long period of this race. If you can get the field strung out, this will be a long green flag run.
Yeah, this is probably the most single file I've seen it in the 2 races we've had. Really, the first battle's back in 15th position. That's clear double file battling, but actually shocked by the 88's pace. We saw him get the win at Daytona last season. Anna Sogak wasn't able to do much with that outside of that win, but he's looking really solid right now.
Down the back straightaway, Matheson leads, Anna Sogak second, then it's Slaughter Jr., Weishart, Beckner. And Beckner's looking for 4th on the bottom side of David Weishart. These two have not been shy about their run-ins prior. Look at how tightly packed they are. Barely a couple feet between these two down the front straightaway.
It's a mile and a half, but I would not be surprised to see Beckner and JT Poole maybe work together to try to get by the 33. Weishart, the defending winner of this race, led 45 laps after Scioli went out of the race late in that one. He took the win, a pretty key playoff win to advance into the final 4, I believe. So Weishart, he definitely looks like he's struggling right now. He goes up the track, and Beckner keeps getting that run out of 4. He just needs a little bit more of a push, but this is where it gets tough. If you don't clear him enough into turn 1, it's so hard to make this pass work. Why JT Poole's pretty key in trying to make this pass happen for Beckner.
And Beckner is clear of the 33, and he will clear himself up the racetrack. Weishart tries the crossover, but doesn't have enough of a run to do anything with it. That was a big commitment there by Beckner. Had he not cleared him, I think they would have had a bit of a run-in.
Well, that wouldn't have been the first time, wouldn't have been the last either, but you could see Weishart wanted to cross him over, but he saw JT Poole was not going to go with him, knows those two work together very well, so he basically just had to block the 26's run, which is going to let Beckner get away and let Michael Curhan get into this battle a little bit as well, as that 33 is bleeding time right now. I think he's definitely driven the tires off, but I would have thought the 88 did as well, but I think it's because of Anna Sogak having to clean there on that top side, and Weishart was pushing him and having that dirty air the entire run. I think that might be the difference.
Yeah, and I mentioned comers and goers. Speed early doesn't always mean speed late. Here's Greg Mitchell and Bronson Stafford side by side just behind him. Talked about Braxton Deweese earlier in the night. He's up to 14th from 23rd in one of those open Ford F-150s. Had a little bit of pressure from Nathan Jump behind. You see that battle up the road with Weishart, who's crossed over JT Poole now. Come back up to that one and did not get off the 2 very well. Now Michael Curhan's on his rear bumper.
Yeah, he's got to find somewhere to get in line or else he's going to really struggle. Tom Bourne just tried the way high line, did not work out for him, but definitely starting to see drivers kind of maneuver around the track, trying to find different lines. We're at that point where it's not really a pack race. I mean, it is still kind of a pack race, but it's not a crazy pack race. We're seeing a lot more spread out action, even though the draft is still playing a factor. So you're now starting to see drivers trying to avoid that dirty air, going to the middle or even that 3rd lane, just trying to find something.
James Scioli on Michael Curhan there for 7th place. Scioli didn't want the bottom in 3 and 4, so he moved up the racetrack. And I think in turns 3 and 4 especially, it's easy to get pinched down there, but 1 and 2, there's a big bump on the bottom that makes it exceptionally hard to maintain that groove when there's someone right on your outside door. So while the bottom seems to be the preferred line, even in longer runs, it is tough to maintain that groove down there. You watch the 7 bounce over at mid-corner, but he was planned for it. But he's still going to get crossed up by Michael Curhan in that 24 machine.
This is what Scioli would want, though, because Weishart's going to go bottom. Curhan gets dirty air. And he's going to wash up the racetrack almost into the side of the 7 truck, and that's exactly... That was really tight. That's what Scioli wanted, though. And here comes Wineland to 3 wide. That's how important that top side can be. Yeah,
he's not waiting around. He got the big run with the 24 slipping up. And just with one little mistake, the 24, really not even much of a mistake. He just got trapped on the bottom. He's going to lose 2 spots, maybe 3. Because Greg Mitchell is in behind it, the Ford F-150, but Curhan slots ahead of him. Tom Bourne's there as well in the number 16. He's up a couple of spots in that Toyota Tundra TRD Pro.
Once again, pinched off the bottom. Bourne might go backwards here because they're lining up behind him, and Danny Ware is trying to go to the outside of Nathan Jump. Jump almost put him in the outside wall, and he actually gave him a shot in the turn number 1. You can see in the turn 1, you do not want to be on those bumps on the bottom, really, so everyone's trying to fight to get to the right rear before the corner entry. It's causing a lot of dangerous blocking to happen.
Yeah, Braxton Deweese passed the 16, and 16 back past him again just for a moment.
Also got a battle for second.
Oh, trouble! There goes the 13 off the nose and goes sliding through the grass. No caution yet, and he will get back rolling. Yeah, that was well maintained there, control by Braxton Deweese. Just got hooked around at an inopportune time by a couple cars getting tight to the wall. Here it is again from high above. So I think the 9's going to get into the 16, which then turns the 13 across the road.
He just put a sarcastic thank you in chat as well. I'm sure he's not happy. Bourne up the track.
Yeah,
and
Bourne.
then right here, it's Jump a little off the wall. Coming into Tom Bourne, and DeWeese just got hooked because of that.
Right. Yeah, I think Bourne slid up the track maybe a bit more than he needed to also. Let's have another look here. The 60, he's tight. He does not have any air on the nose of that truck, so it's understeering right there. And you're right, the 9 didn't, he was just following the 13, but there was racetrack there to the right. And Deweese did a nice job keeping that thing from ending up in the fence. But he will drop down to 42nd place. A lot of work left to do to regain that position.
Thankfully for him, at least no damage done, just a harmless slide. But like you said, a lot of track which was lost. Last on track of the trucks that are still running besides John Hall. But we're finally starting to see it get even more spread out. Jake Matheson's lead is about 9/10 of a second at this point, and we're starting to see Justin Sogak pay the price on those tires. He's already back to 5th, and he's back to Weishart in a battle for 6th.
Yeah, this race not going yellow and then spreading out is not what Deweese wanted to see after getting turned around. That's going to be a long, long day if the field doesn't get bunched back up for him. But maybe take this opportunity and think about a different strategy. Maybe try that fuel-saving one-stopper. But you're going to be put in a hole there because of that track position loss. The good news is I don't think there's much, if any, damage on that number 13 Orange F-150. There's Weishart going backwards past the 7-inch Scioli, who's on an upward mission here. Started 12th, he's up to 6th.
Yeah, honestly, I think out of that contact out of 4, I think Tom Bourne got the worst because he has some right front fender damage. But yes, the reigning champs coming to the front at the very end of this run. He was so fast in season 4, just didn't get the win after the incident. But climbing right now, but a lot more competition this season area. He's got to chase down Matheson at 52s, who was pulling away. But Travis Beckner is starting to keep pace after he got by Slaughter for 2nd. Those two have been the ones that are really getting away.
Yeah, keep an eye on lap times here. Jake Matheson last time around at a 172.835 miles an hour and 172.769 miles an hour for Beckner. That translates to about 1.5 hundredths of a second. Pretty tight. This time it's a 31.7 flat for Matheson, 31.73 for Beckner. So a little bit slower, but not by much. He's basically keeping pace here with Matheson.
I'm pretty orderly at the front, but everything 14th on back is still pretty wild. I think after that incident, turn 4 really stacked things up. So Daniel Ware is holding up maybe a dozen trucks. There's a lot going on behind him.
Colin Fambro's then there, Tom Bourne, Joshua Balliette in that 07 on the bottom of the racetrack. Kyle C is on the bottom here. This is a bit of a frantic fight just outside the top 10.
Sam Fontaine there as well. That Fambro's going to go to the apron. Haven't seen a lot of that, but he's going to be able to do it and make it by Tom Bourne. I think that right front damage is starting to hurt that 16 truck a lot more at this point. And at this point, if you're not trying to make it and maybe make it to lap 60, you're going to see pit stops in probably the next 5 to 10 laps. You might even see him this lap at some point. I think Weishart might have said he's coming down this time.
Yeah, so that would be a committing to a 2-stop strategy, pitting at the 1/3 and then 2/3 mark. Eric Wineland's also coming to pit lane. Locks it up. I think he's in safely. So is the 33. Looks like there's some more coming. Ben Pierce in the background. So this is going to be a 2-stop strategy. Pit at lap 40, pit at lap 80, and be done.
Yeah, Pierce, Rodriguez, Bobby Tinch as well. Justin Sogak, the 88, has just said he's going to come down. I think Slaughter as well. So definitely looks unlikely that we're going to see any driver trying to get the 60. I think we're going to see a busy pit lane here.
Yeah, they must have just looked at the math and said that wasn't going to work and have committed to that strategy. The 88 locks it down. There's Colin Fambro in the background. This is a tough pit lane, probably an underrated challenge, this pit road entry. The pit lane curls away from the road pretty significantly as you come rocketing out of 4. It's not one of the easier pit lanes to get to.
Jacob Bell kind of slid out of turn number 4 to get to his stall, then missed it. So definitely kind of a tough one because it looks like you have a lot of room, a lot of asphalt on that flat pit entry, but once you get to the flat, you really lose control, so it gets even more tough. JT Poole's going to come down. As you can see, almost everyone else coming down in that top 10 range in a single file line. Curhan, I think I saw Mason Kane in there, Greg Mitchell. We shouldn't be too far away from seeing the rest of the leaders.
Yeah, Austin Gak-Joan is there, Joey Chapman, Gary Waterworth, Mark Brannigan Jr. also in this group. And they're pitting in groups, which it's almost pitting like it's a plate race. You're coming down with a group of cars to make sure that you're not by yourself when you leave pit lane, but you don't want to pit with too many because that pit lane entrance can get pretty congested very quickly.
Yeah, the only issue with this is, oh my gosh, literally everyone 4th on back's coming this time. Oh, we got a slider, big time. Shane Wolf is almost sliding. I'm sorry, I thought he was going to spin. Now he almost had to stop in the middle of pit road to get to a stall. The only person who doesn't want to pit in the pack is Matheson because he's pulling away, but I don't know how he got this well down.
Oh, man, that was really close.
Oh, my God, he didn't hit the cone either.
Wow, nicely done there for
And he's at
Shane Wolf.
no penalty either. Beckner's going to come in. Oh, Beckner spun on pit entry.
Oh, boy, from second place, and that was a full, complete spin. He's going to pull back
out.
on the road as Alex Cummings is entering the pit lane there as well in the 63. That will cost him probably about 7 to 10 seconds, and that's going to translate to 20 or 30 positions on the racetrack, I'd have to imagine.
And that's a lot of breathing room for Jake Matheson, who's pretty much on his own strategy at this point, going so much longer than the rest of the field, which he has the speed for it.
Here he comes.
But it is a little surprising to see him stay out really 3 to 4 extra laps compared to the rest. He's hot entering, but I think he'll get it down. Looks like Tom Bourne. Not many others left to come down.
Yeah, that was a pretty efficient entry there by Jake Matheson, and he was able to pit later than basically everyone that he was racing around, which is only going to help him as far as the tire strategy is concerned. We're seeing drop-offs in times that range a little bit, but I think probably about 1.5 to 2 seconds of drop-off over the course of the run, Connor.
I'm trying to look at that. It looks like what it's around. Matheson's going to be a little different because he was in clean air. He fell off close to 1.3 seconds. And Travis Beckner, well, he was in dirty air majority of his run. It was still around 1.3 seconds. So that's pretty much what we're looking at.
The top 5 have not made their pit stop yet. You mentioned Casey Lakatos earlier in the night. We haven't even seen that truck yet. There he is in the 50 with lead lap traffic driving by, and they're not shy about moving everyone out of the way. There's the 20 Orion Swan just ahead. Shane Therian in the 38 just up the road also has yet to pit. Same with Kyle Sieg and Nathan Jump.
I don't think Casey was prepared for this. He joined like 5 minutes before qualifying ended, so probably unprepared for this chaos. And this is where you're at risk for a caution when you have drivers trying to tough it out a little bit longer, having a second worth of difference in pace, really a 1.5 seconds difference. It could cause chaos as you got most of that big pack into turn number 1 with Daniel Ware leading it, coming close to the 50.
Eric Wineland and David Weishart trading spots there. That'll be for position fairly high up the running order once things cycle out. And speaking of, Jake Matheson he's going to cycle to be behind about 7 or 8 cars here. But again, on fresher tires, that should help him balance out as we watch what should be the cycling to the lead battle, Eric Wineland and Brad Slaughter Jr.
One thing you don't want at this point is a caution because you're probably not going to see a lot of drivers stay out. You probably just want to get fresh rubber, but it'll be interesting if we got one. But I think if you're Matheson, you definitely want to be going this completely green because of your tire advantage.
Ooh, this is for what will cycle to be the lead as soon as Therian and Jump hit pit lane. Brad Slaughter Jr. 1 lap fresher tires than Eric Wineland, but Wineland fights back on the outside lane.
Slaughter on that bottom line. He pit lap 38. Wineland actually pit a lap earlier, so a little bit worse tire on the 21, but fighting on the top side. But looks like Weishart's going to be able to go to the bottom and push Slaughter through and probably push himself through. And look at Scioli cycling into this as well.
And just behind them is JT Poole, and then right behind him is Jake Matheson on tires that are about 5 laps fresher, so he should make pretty quick work of this. Shane Therian's on pit lane. Nathan Jump is the last left to break. And this battle here in shot will cycle to be the one for the lead. 6 trucks on top of each other, and Matheson goes to the high side, and he's going to look like Superman here right now.
Oh my goodness, I thought someone was crashing with the sparks. I think Nathan Jump is coming in this time, but yeah, Matheson played this to perfection completely. Didn't really have to do much. You just had so much more pace. Weishart sideways. This is going to get hairy.
That's really tight off of turn 2. And Matheson's going to give Wineland a shove past the 33 of Weishart, past the 7 of James Scioli, to the rear bumper of Brad Slaughter Jr. They will cycle to take the lead this time through, and Matheson just left, right, carving through the maze here. The haunted hayride on Halloween. Matheson is quick to the exit.
I mean, this is crazy as well. He's going to get the lead probably out of turn number 2. We'll see how much Slaughter can really fight it.
Not
I
at
don't think he's
all.
going to be able to fight anything here.
No.
As now I'm interested to see if Scioli can really keep pace, because he has also older, everyone in here has older tires than the 52, but he's just that much faster. But Slaughter is going to fight back to the bottom.
Yeah, that's not going to short-term gain, long-term loss there. I don't think they'll have the pace to do it. That just goes to show you that how much that 5-lap difference in tires makes, and Matheson will get to stack that on at the end of the next run as well. If he can grow his lead and then run a few laps more, is just going to stagger that advantage even better for the last run.
3
Here
wide.
comes Scioli to the bottom, though, 3 wide into turn 1.
I think he sees an opportunity to get Matheson back there, and he's going to try to take it as he's got the push JT Poole. And this is a battle 7 trucks in this lead pack. So, caution.
As the leaders are 3 wide, it's Bryce Senesac in turn 2. And Matheson, I think, will be the leader, scored at the moment of yellow, but
Man, that was such a good battle brewing, too. My gosh.
Oh, man.
I thought JT was going to take him 4.
we're
But
almost
Senesac-
to the halfway point before our first yellow flag comes out. But here is a look at what happened. He was racing with
Mark Brannigan.
Oh.
That's what we were just talking about. They just come together entering the corner. I mean, it looked like Netcode was there too, but come together and Senesac gets turned.
Yeah, there's definitely netcode involved here, but this is exactly the thing I was talking about earlier, where you're coming up into turn 1. You're trying to arc the corner here, especially when you're trying to save tires. So the 09 comes, and at the 98,
You could see Brannigan.
Yeah, he tried.
Yeah.
He tried to do his best, but he was already kind of far off
Look
the
at
wall.
but look at the trucks in front of him is really going to be a telltale sign. Is look how full truck length maybe down than compared to those two. Those
Yeah.
two are racing as well, so it's a tough thing to really gauge.
Yeah, they're going to disagree on who was supposed to be where, I'm sure, but I'm not sure how that'll get ruled. Probably just a racing incident, one going up, one coming down. Here's what it looked like from the entrance to turn 1. Coming into shot right at the center of your screen. Ooh, that's a big hit there.
And they did rule Netcode, so no fault blamed, as everyone hits pit road for a fresh set of tires. Look out, don't hit each other, guys.
Yeah, so
this is really going to hurt. Sorry to cut you off. It's going to hurt Beckner because he didn't have the opportunity to get his track position back.
No, and what it's going to do is we can't make it to the end on fuel from here either. So it's still going to be a one-stopper after this. And I think we're going to see a lot of fuel onlys maybe and some short pits. Yeah, it looks like 2 tires for a whole bunch of trucks. We'll do the best we can to update you on who is on what when they recycle out. We're going to give it a second, though. It's pretty chaotic at the moment.
I believe Weishart took 2, so I'd be surprised if the 3 behind him took fuel only and came out behind him. But as we were looking at, those top 7 were gone. They had almost a straightaway on 8th place, the drivers who were going to come out 8th place in that pack. So I don't know what happened, but they got such a big gap compared to the rest of the field.
Speaking of top 7, the top 7 drivers from Culberson back to Matt Sharp did not pit. I was surprised to see people pit, to be honest. I know their tire wear is extreme, but I think you're going to have to pit again anyway. So
I think the issue, I think they didn't want to be in dirty air on old tires. So that's probably part of the thought process there. But I was kind of a little surprised to see people just straight up stay out, personally. I'm not surprised to see 2 tires, but I thought a lot more people would want fresh rubber.
very quick yellow. We're already 1 to green. That was a fast yellow, I think, because we have everyone on the lead lap, so we got to save a lap from the yellow flag. Race fans, head over to simwrapmarket.com for custom iRacing paint scheme templates that are simple and easy to use, so it keeps you more focused on the racetrack. And race fans, be sure to check out rickshotsauce.com for some of the best hot sauces made locally in South Florida. Try the Loxahatchee Classic, Golden Garlic, Palm Beach Pineapple, or South Beach Heat. Follow the Rick's Hot Sauce Rookie of the Year battle in the Area Cup Series on Monday night and see which driver will take home the $100 prize as the highest finishing rookie in the point standings. So first restart of the night, we had 50 green flag laps before our first yellow, Connor. Is this the caution that begins breeding cautions?
I think it will be, mainly because of the new players we're going to have at the front. Culberson, Bell, Jump, Swan, Lakatos, Therian, and Matt Sharp all stayed out. Granted, Lakatos and Ryan Swan, a lot of those drivers, and Nathan Jump as well, they had just come down. So this makes perfect sense because they have fresh tires basically still. So it's going to be a little interesting for guys like Culberson and Bell who tires are not as good. Jacob Bell, he started dead last and he's going to restart second, by the way.
Yeah, only 2 green flag laps on Nathan Jump's tires. Culberson is going to lead us to the green. It's on the inside there in that Rick's Hot Sauce truck. Jacob Bell is on the outside. Lap 54. 67 laps to go, and we're back underway from Las Vegas. And here comes Matheson already. No, excuse me, that's Weishart, the 33, to the outside.
Slaughter went to the apron. They're already 3 wide back there. Jump's already got a run on Culberson for the lead.
Oh, watch out, Slaughter and JT Poole getting together. You cannot fit them all in one shot.
They're going to try. Mitchell up the track, add the lift.
Oh, he's really loose. Bronson Stafford's on the outside of 3 wide right now. This is just going to be pandemonium on the front straightaway. 4 wide. That ain't going to work. 4 into 1 does not go. Who's going to give?
None of them are going to give. They're going to crash.
Into the 45, and here goes everybody. Man, piling up in turn 2.
Mechner's destroyed out of that. The Slaughter's got some damage. That was the most predictable crash of the week, and we just left the season, excuse me. We just left Daytona.
That was a big one, and we saw it coming, but I mean, who's going to bail out, right? It's up to the drivers to decide, but the drivers got themselves in that mess. They are 4 wide here. Slaughter on the bottom, the 45. Who's the middle of the 45 there? Is
Curhan.
The 45 truck, rather.
Curhan, Matt Sharp is the 45.
I was thinking Seidenfeiden, but not this season. There's JT Poole, and then there's the 28.
Sodak.
Oh, 45 took a big
Cameron Hearn who got damage. I haven't talked about him all night. I understand you got to get track position. It is a track position based race, but I was really shocked to see Slaughter go 4 on the apron there. Yeah, you know that you're gonna run out of room there.
Yeah, he tried. I think he thought someone else would back out, and he just no one did.
Yeah, he's one of those drivers who are likely to be done for the night.
Yeah, there were some big hits in that wreck.
They start playing bumper cars at 180. You'll see Cameron Hearn just ran out of room, and looks like Sharp took it.
Got the worst of it for sure. Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot. There's not room down there for as many trucks, but who's supposed to give more room, right? I mean, there's just the 45 gets hit by the. I thought it started with the 8, but it was actually the 45 and 24 that actually started this. Watch the 24 Curhan, and to my knowledge, the spotter calls only go to 3. So the middle truck, Curhan is the least able to see how wide they are of anybody. He can't see that they're 4 wide. He gets into the 45. The 45 gets into the 8, and then from there, they're just passengers.
And it's not like Bronson Stafford at the very top has no clue what's going on either. Look at Scioli, Greg Mitchell, even Garrett. Grant's going to hit the wall, but he avoided big damage. But you just, unless you got someone in the driver's chat just yelling 4, that's very rarely going to ever work. And I can hear the driver's chat. No one ever called 4. So I think really only Brad Slaughter and Matt Sharp might have been aware of that. Stafford and Curran probably really didn't have a clue.
Now, Ben Pierce in the 65 had a great view of this. And JT Poole's asking to show his damage because he probably doesn't know how much he's got. We'll get there in a moment to watch Ben Pierce navigate all that. So, I guess we'll be so kind.
Thank goodness for pavement down there.
I don't see a lot of anything on it. It's just a slight shot to the bumper there on the 26. I wouldn't call that really needing of much attention.
Little bit of a crinkle where around where the grill is. You can see it's kind of pushed in, but I wouldn't think that's going to hurt him too much.
Says I just saw him say that y'all are just the best. We try, but I just don't know that. I wouldn't worry about that too much if I'm JT.
If I'm his competitor, I'm telling him to pit. Get out of my way.
Well, especially with the new damage model, as you know, the damage seems less consequential. You know, when the damage model first released, it was way more consequential, especially in open wheelers. But as the system has kind of been molded over time, it seems like the infinite repairability of it, especially as it relates to body panels, has made it easier to replace things and not really worry about it once your car is repaired. It doesn't seem to hold on to damage as bad as the old damage model did. So we still got everyone but Brad Slaughter Jr. and John Hall running.
It really comes down to with the new damage model, if you don't hurt the suspension, you're probably going to be fine. It's just really when that suspension gets completely snapped is when you're in a very, very bad spot. But A lot of drivers who get damage, if it's just door damage, front end damage, rear end damage, you're going to be able to repair it and still be as fast as you were earlier, but it's that suspension damage that really hurts you, and I think that's what Slaughter got a lot of, which he's probably going to be our second retirement of the race, although he is still in the truck. We got another restart coming. It's Nathan Jump and Case Lakatos. The last of the pitters under green get to the front row.
Yeah, 2 laps shy of halfway. Second caution of the night, this time for a much bigger wreck. Field out of turn 4, Nathan Jump will get the jump. Green flag back in the air from Las Vegas. Get the jump, he did, he's gone.
I'm not shocked you used that. Casey didn't go there as of that well either. Therian looked 3 middle. He is going to go 3 middle. Does not take long on these restarts, does it?
No, well, especially not with this mixed bag of tire strategy that we've got. It's not going to get any better than this until everyone gets back on the same strategy. You have to be aggressive, otherwise you get swallowed alive here. Into turn 3, 3 wide.
Weishart's loose.
He just has no air on the nose of the truck. What do?
You got to hold on to it for dear life. Jordan Martin's screenshots are going to be great coming out of this race. Look at this battling 5th on back, but Nathan Jump's clear for the lead, and Culberson and Therian are going to move into the top 3.
Oh man, the 52 of Matheson led so much of this race. He's just stuck in the middle of no man's land right now. He wants back through.
Oh, Bell and Culberson came together. Big stack up.
Matheson to the bottom behind Scioli. Bails out of that idea.
Oh, and they're still stacking up. They're in a wall in the background, a few trucks, but they somehow kept it straight. That was Joey Chapman who got the worst of it. That stack up started out of turn 2, ended into turn 3.
And we're
here comes
wide.
Scioli.
3 wide for the second spot. Scioli on the bottom, as you pointed out.
That is a mess, 24th on back.
Oh boy, look at this.
Oh my gosh. They
Kyle
might have
C.
been 5 wide.
Oh, there's a crash out of turn 2.
Oh.
Jacob Bell's in it.
Weishart in the inside wall.
I don't even have a good shot of that on the back straightaway, but Bell's in it. Weishart is in it as well. He's got big time damage on the front end. Third caution of the night. And this is, we start to get into that rhythm because of all these mixed strategies and a lot more take than give.
Oh my gosh. I'm losing my breath. That was insane. But Ryan Swan and the Weishart and Bell casualty in that.
It's concrete that the 33 got into as well, so that's going to make that a lot worse than it might appear.
Another case where Swan probably could have been higher, but it's hard to tell what he was looking for there.
Yeah. 77 will get away without a whole lot of damage. But third caution, and you know, we go back to that question of is this going to be the caution that breeds caution? That question is answered now.
Oh yeah.
And it's not going to get any better because the strategy differences are not erased. You're just getting more heat cycles on this, so.
And I tell you what, I keep hearing on the radio, and I'm not sure if I saw it. Ryan Nowicki, who's 35th place, was in that huge pack we just looked at. He keeps claiming they were 5 wide. We just cut to that pack before the crash happened, but my gosh, I don't know how they didn't crash earlier. They like I said, they stacked up on the exit too, and they were still trying to figure it out down the front straightaway. Somehow the wreck was unrelated to that stack up.
Yeah, I just don't. That ain't gonna work. I mean, there is a little bit of an element of patience, but as I mentioned earlier, patient for what? For it to get strung out and then not be able to pass? You have to go, but it's just at odds with the ability to run 4 wide like this. As the track cools down, gets grippier, you've got the ability to stay 4 wide for longer. But your spotter can't call it out. It's hard to judge. You know where your truck is, but you don't know where everyone else is in relation to you. So it just creates an immense challenge here.
I think the only thing that could help these restarts is like the IndyCar type rolling starts to get things a little strung out, but it's all going to accordion back up. It just gives you, I guess, more laps before the crash happens. But what happened there, another big restart. Scioli from 12th, he does get the jump on Matheson on this restart, no pun intended, with Nathan Jump leading, but a little bit of a change in potential power for this race lead, that battle that we might have.
Yeah, IndyCar's restart rules, not a fan of either. Mostly because on the road side, it's pace car pulls off and you're free to do whatever you want. And that WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca led to 9 consecutive yellow flags from restart crashes, and then they ran the pace car out of gas. So
At least it didn't break down like it did this week at Martinsville.
Well, you know, the end effect is the same.
That was only because the rubber buildup was so bad. The wiring got pulled out of the Camaro they were using.
This feels like a design flaw to have wiring that's exposed enough that rubber could build up and rip it out, doesn't it?
I suppose. I don't think you're expecting like that. I mean, it was a lot of rubber.
Yeah, but I mean, like, what?
Sunday.
There's just wires under the car just hanging out.
I think it was in something to do with. I think it was the fender or something. I didn't really fully read up on it. I apologize. I didn't do my research on the pace car breaking down.
I thought it was the fuel pump that they pulled the wiring out of. I'm not.
It was something back there. Like I said, I didn't do my research on it. I watched very little of the race because I was too nervous about it.
Well, now you can breathe at least for a week. All right, so we're going to come to the restart next time by. We're past halfway at this stage. If we go green to the end, that'll be about a 30-minute sprint from here. And at this stage, what's our fuel situation? We pit 15 laps ago. No, everyone's still going to have to come back down again. They could make it from here if they wanted to pit now. I don't think that they will.
Yeah, Nathan
55
jumped.
laps, maybe they wouldn't make it from here.
I mean, you would need yellows. Nathan Jump, who's our race leader, went the longest on his stint, and that was 48 laps. Not even 47 full laps. He pit on 48, so you would still need a lot of yellow flag running to make it from here. I say if we get another like 5-lap run or so and then go yellow, I would not be surprised to see people top off for fuel.
Yeah, I would expect the same thing. I'd expect if we get another yellow quickly, I think you'd see drivers maybe start to come down and be done. You still have that threat of green-white checkered as well, so you have to consider that, but only one attempt.
If you top off after another yellow here, you have the potential of being the next one. That's the issue, because you could top off, make it to the end, but if you get so many yellows and you're in that hornet's nest, eventually you're going to run out of lives. You're going to be in one of them.
Yeah, the start of the race, everyone's patient, and you have the opportunity to get strung out. As you get closer to the end of it, don't. Everyone's not willing to give up. The Nathan Jump will take us to the restart here on the bottom lane. Jake Matheson, who led the entire first run, going to restart on the outside of row 2. JT Poole will restart behind him. Despite that damage that he had, it's not holding him back any. Let's see what everyone else has got here. It's 55 laps to go in this 120-lap race. Green flag. The 38 did not go.
That is going to hurt Matheson a little bit. It's going to let Skyoli get the jump on Nathan Jump here. Too many puns.
It's going to make everyone 3 wide, and the 38's just dropping like a stone in a well here. 18 to Fambro middle, 3 wide. Look at Jump going defensive down the backstretch. He knows how to play the game. Skyoli to the outside.
And the tire difference isn't that much, but we have had heat cycles now, and Skyoli is probably still going to have a lot more grip to be able to make this topside move work. But what does Matheson do with the run? He's going to go 3 wide bottom.
Not waiting around, not wasting any time. He wants this lead back, and he's going to get it and clear everyone in turn 1 with a big send down there.
I'm sure Skyoli's upset about that. Did not want to give up control of this race back to the 52, but he has no choice because he's still not clear of the 9 of Jump.
In the background, you can see the 2 and 3 wide, a little bit more tidy than the prior restart, now that the heat cycles are kind of averaging everyone's tire performance out. But Matheson goes to the apron for defense. Skyoli's going to use that outside lane to pull up alongside. Battle for the lead into turn 1.
He's going to take the right rear here. He's going to try to pinch the 52 down and clear him this way. Skyoli's tires will be more stressed out doing this, but if he can get the lead and get clean air on his nose, it might not matter as much.
Skyoli pulls ahead into 3.
And JT Poole in 3rd, excuse me.
If he can pinch him down, he might have him here, but Matheson's going to fight back hard.
Oh, big wiggle. Where does Poole go? He's going to go 3 wide bottom.
JT Poole wants a part of this. 3 wide for the lead here.
It's going to be tough to hold it down there, though, as we got someone almost entering on the apron in the back, but he kept it straight. Skyoli's going to try to get the crossover on both of these drivers. Poole's not going to let him go down there. Big bump from the 7.
Big shove.
He loves it.
Into turn 3. He's got the lead. Can he clear him? He does. JT Poole powers to the front. Here comes Skyoli with a run on the bottom, though, and Poole blocks it.
Now what lane does he want? Does he want top or bottom? He's going to block the 52, and they're going to bump draft work together a little bit here. And now it's Scioli who's in a bad spot, stuck maybe on the bottom. He's got a gap between the 52 and the 9 of Nathan Jump now if he wants it.
Yeah, Matheson's going to get this run off the corner here and draft JT Poole. Look at the run he's building now. Oh, Scioli, little slide there, little lateral slide in 4, but holding the bottom very nicely. It's hard to stay on the inside down there. 50 laps to go this time.
Look at the gap these three are pulling on the 9 of Jump now, and Jump still got a gap on Culberson, who's trying to block both lanes. He's going to really struggle.
Yeah, he threw a block on the 18, and it was too little too late. Colin Fambrough gets to the bottom.
Oh, Stafford.
Wow.
Look at that move.
Took the elevator to the ground floor. Rewind into 3.
Got to go back up at some point, though. I won't call it an issue with elevators, but it's an issue in racing. But they're going to stay 3 wide, and look at the ground they're going to lose now.
This is just wild. This is so much like what we saw last night in the Cup Series race. Just the inability to get spread out. It leads to these really tight packs where you've got no room to race.
It's also bad there. It's like this for 17th position and even 25th position, just like the first run, just way more crazy. Those top 4 pretty set away.
Yeah, Poole, Scioli, Matheson established 1, 2, 3. And then just behind them, Colin Fambrough and Bronson Stafford, they almost slammed doors through the tri-oval there. Into turn 1. Stafford slides up the 07 of Valiette, just took a ride up the hill in 1 and 2.
Right in front of Culberson. So these guys battling for 5th are just going to let the leaders get away. But what a call from Nathan Jump, going that long on the fuel. And
look at Scioli to the lead, past JT Poole. Took a swipe at him and got it. Meanwhile, for 5th, Fambrough and Stafford still bouncing off each other.
That was a bold move into 3 by Scioli. These two are still bouncing off each other. Daniel Ware almost got bounced off to the inside by Culberson. And Mason Kane under the 07 of Valiette for position now.
Yeah, this is just, there's battles everywhere right now. Scioli throws the defense on Poole into 3 up ahead, but this is the tight fight. How many trucks do you want at a shot? You got them all here at Las Vegas.
And any one of them could still win it at this rate. And I'm shocked Mason Kane's up there. I thought the 26's nose was punched in. Mason Kane's is definitely fully punched in. There is a huge caved-in hole on the nose of that 31, but it's not hurting him too much.
Trucks just everywhere.
Yeah, every lane, too. Wineland went to the way top line, trying to get that outside working. It's just really not there, but he is at least getting a run from it.
Here comes Matheson to the inside of Poole into 3.
How hard does Poole fight this? He really couldn't fight it at all.
Fambrough and Stafford must be getting exhausted running each other's doors. This time Fambrough clears them and pulls down, sends a message, I am through. Please try again, knock on the door again later.
I think the issue is no, don't battle me again.
No soliciting.
Yes, close enough. But 18, a really good run for Fambrough if he can hold on to this 5th place. Hasn't had the runs as of late, but now the battle for the lead heating up. Matheson is all over the back bumper of Scioli and trying to cross him over out of 4, I think.
Matheson chases Scioli down onto the apron. Doesn't want to give him the inside. Matheson's going to try to sneak up to the outside into 1. They try to go the long way around.
Crash turn 1. I think not Mason Kane, but a number of drivers got together and they somehow didn't bring out a yellow yet. I can't believe that. Oh, Jason Dalton and Greg Mitchell.
Oh, there they go.
Wineland are going to crash.
And nope. We were straight. How are we still straight? I cannot believe.
There is no way.
Yeah, that was incredible.
No, they wrecked twice. I cannot believe that.
Yeah, I mean, Deweese was the one that we saw at first. But that was insane. Let's go back and have a look at how that all started.
Started in the turn 1 somewhere. I think even further up than Deweese.
Oh, there it is, the 88 of Anna Sogak. They got together. Deweese runs into the back of him, and then this is all one incident, basically, because the 2 was in the middle of this. And the 0-2 gets together, gets into Wineland. That is incredible.
Dalton saved it as well. I thought he fully spun. I don't know how they got away with that. Wayne Culberson's going to pit. He got damage out of that stack up.
For the lead. Here comes Matheson to the bottom. I cannot believe that wasn't a crash. Everyone did a great job rearresting their momentum sideways there, and everyone behind lifted, and they survived. Connor, that's the reason why
Matheson's up the track.
Whoa, that's tight.
And what this does is really spread things out. The top 4 are still away, but we're fully single file all the way back to about Sam Fontaine in 14th. And then there's a big gap between Fontaine and Brannigan.
I hesitate to say that that'll let us get green to the end, but it's going to extend the run here, I think, because I'm sure we'll get another yellow, but we were so close to getting one that with the field spread out, it's going to reduce the opportunity for a caution. That's going to let Matheson have a swipe at Scioli again. But he wasn't able to get alongside.
Shows how important the track position is. He pulled away to a second lead earlier, now just struggling to get to the inside of the 7 of Scioli. Meanwhile, the battle for third's heating up. Nathan Jump has re-caught JT Poole for that position as well.
Yeah, Nathan Jump right back into it here. 13th tonight, fell as far back as 36th. I think that was on the pit stop sequence, but now battling inside the top 5 late in this race. A better place to be.
Just waiting for the next pit cycle. Maybe he'll short pit this next cycle after going long the last time.
And speaking of cycle, 40 laps to go, make it 39 this time through, well within that 40-lap window where we'd expect to see drivers come to pit lane. With all those yellows, they're going to delay that a little bit. But if we had gone green this whole time, this would be when those drivers would have pit. So I could expect pit stops anytime soon.
JT Poole's just going to let Nathan Jump through for that third position, but this battling's still going crazy as well. This is where the craziness is started up again, and this is all the way for 15th. Beckner and Gak Joan are going to get together as the 28 still trying to fight back from the incident on the second caution of the night.
Kyle Sieg's back here in 18th place as well. That's where he started the race, so a lot of racing to end up where you started. He's going to get a nice run here on the 28 as Beckner slips up the track. Oh, look at Beckner drive into the center of the corner. He's going to get up underneath the 41.
Wait. I think he is a touch faster. It's just we're still at that point of the run where it's a little bit hard to make that pass work on the bottom without washing up. We've already seen him wash up about 2 or 3 times.
This race has gone by very quickly, and even if we get a couple more yellows, we're getting close to crunch time here. It'll be 30 laps to go in about 5 laps. And the ticker starts counting down at 20 to go, so one more pit stop, and then it's a frantic sprint to the end if it hasn't been frantic enough for you. James Scioli's taking the lead. He's putting some distance on Matheson, but Matheson this time through was a hair quicker.
He didn't get enough clean air on the nose there than what I think he would have wanted. Just wonder if he's going to not go as long as he did last run and try to get clean air more so than just getting better tires to the end. It's going to be interesting to see as he's losing some time. Scioli not able to really challenge for the lead anymore.
Scioli, Matheson, Jump, Poole, Fambro, your top 5. Bit deeper in the field, back to Beckner, Gak Joan, Kyle Sieg, Gary Waterworth. Now we're seeing trucks kind of get stuck single file. They're not 3 wide anymore, but they're having trouble finding an advantage over one another. Travis is all over Gak Joan, but left, right, center doesn't seem to matter. Getting overlap is a challenge.
We're still yet to see a majority of drivers pit. I've only seen Dwayne Culberson and Justin Sogak pit, but they were in the back 30, or the back 10 of the field, I guess I should say. Nowhere to go for the 28, who was looking to be really fast earlier, but just once again, that's how important the track position is with this type of racing.
Beckner trying the outside lane there to get some overlap. Kyle Sieg might give him a shove. Gak Joan covers the top again.
He's impatient, almost shoving him into turn number 3 as we see one of our first few front runners pit. Shane Therian from 11th is down.
And this is it. I mean, 32 laps to go. Got plenty of tire to survive 32 laps here, so I don't think that'll be a big issue. Jake Matheson matching Scioli's pace, only a truck length between them. And Matheson would love to get past Scioli and pace this race in the last run. So far, Matheson's led 46 laps. Scioli has only led 15.
I would not be surprised if Matheson were to get by the 7 before the cycle. I would not be surprised for Skyler to just pit immediately and just not let him get any more of an advantage in clean air.
Yeah, that's what I would do if I'm Skyler. As soon as that 52 pits, I'm on pit lane. As soon as he passes me, I'm on pit lane. Don't let him get any more advantage. I think Matheson's the quickest truck here tonight. Got kind of buried in the pit stop sequence, but now that they're in clean air, Scioli's not able to drive away. If you were paying attention last night, I'm sure Scioli was. Matheson won the race, trying to go for the 3 sweep here at Vegas. Is he in the Florida State Builders Pro Series?
I didn't think so, but I could be wrong easily. I was more paying attention to JT Poole and Colin Farnborough battling for 4th. Farnborough's already said over the radio he's cut JT Poole enough breaks, so he's impatient at this point. And you can see it might be damage affecting JT as well. He does have a lot more door damage from my point of view than what I thought.
Yeah, I see a little bit of a dent there. I'm not sure if it's worse for you than it is for me, but
Bronson Stafford in from 6.
Tom Bourne will follow.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, this is going to get interesting here, I think. Farnborough running out of patience. JT drives in hard on the bottom. But look at Farnborough squaring up the exit, and look at the run he's going to build on the backstretch.
Not going to be big enough to get back to him on corner entry, though. It's a lot of good runs in this top 10. Danny Ware 6, Balliet is 7. Balliet's actually going to pit from 7. James Shane Wolf, Ben Pierce top 10 right now. And obviously Nathan Jump in 3rd. That's a great run for him.
Yeah, he's had a phenomenal day.
Caution.
And who for? Jack Jones.
Kyle Sieg as well. Big damage for Sieg. And that kills anyone who had just pit.
Yeah.
If they didn't, they lead lap.
Not going to work out very well for them. Let's have a look. Ooh, they were together a couple times in the corner. And Sieg, oh, they just get together. Oh, man.
Yeah, huge hits. That was really just a fight over room.
Woo,
oh,
wow.
my gosh. Is that Greg Mitchell? My gosh. How did he hit him? It almost looked like he did.
He did, but yeah, that one's just 2 drivers going for the same area of real estate on the road. And again, in the trioval, you know, could the 41 be expected to move further left? He's about a half a lane up, but
another bit of netco too. But yeah, almost looked like the 41 was like daring him to side draft with keeping up there. Waterworth's just sitting there like, no, don't do this, please. Yeah, big hits. Both of them are definitely out.
Was Greg Mitchell. Whoa!
Oh, yeah.
Here's his onboard.
Yeah, he definitely did get damage out of that.
Just trying to pick which way to go, and he picked right, just that little hesitation. Picked up some left front damage. Pit lane is going to be a very busy place. Going to equalize everyone out here, though, and make it nice, clean, even run to the end here for the front runners. No more tire strategy playing into this. It's going to be all-out brawl.
I think it sounded like Scioli was complaining about a speeding penalty because Matheson pushed him on entry.
Let's have a look.
He's going to get out, so couldn't have been speeding, I would think. It was on entry, I believe. Let's see.
Oh, he was pushing him. Oh, right there.
Oh.
Yep.
Yeah, big contact.
So,
well, I guess Skyler wouldn't be a stopping hold under yellow.
No, I mean, if you got a pit road speeding penalty, he would have been held. Or no, it would be an EOL, wouldn't it?
I think under caution, I guess it would be an EOL.
I think that, isn't it always applied as a stop and hold, though? I thought it always was.
I thought it was, but maybe it's different. Maybe it's different under green. But either way, Matheson was able to get out in front of the 7.
Yeah, I don't know that there's a rule against that. Pushing someone down pit lane. I mean, I'm sure it probably falls under general conduct, but I don't know that there would be an explicit rule against shoving someone past the pit lane speeding window. That's a loophole that I don't think we've had to explore before. Could you argue that the 7 stopped there? I mean, everyone kind of does a mini brake check, right? You're coming in a little fast. You're trying to get every advantage you can, but then you stop. So I think the 52 will be arguing the other side of that.
Yeah, it definitely looked like leading up to the line, they were going about 58, and pit speed's 50, just from what I'm seeing on my telemetry. And then when Scioli hit the brakes to hit the cone, Matheson didn't react in time. I mean, that's what's going to happen when you're trying to get such an advantage, and, you know, everyone's on each other's bumpers. I'm surprised that doesn't happen more, honestly, but Scioli's saying over the radio he has a drop-to-end penalty.
Yeah, I didn't know that an EOL was served like, or a speeding penalty was served like that. Let's go back and have a look from top down here. Yeah, well, the 52, I mean, he wasn't at pit lane speed anyway. So
it's like he didn't see where the yellow line was, and Scioli was trying to get all the advantage possible and hit the brakes immediately, and
it's just a little push, but
it makes all the difference when the speed's strictly 50, though.
Yeah, there's just not a lot of margin, right? Didn't leave himself a lot of room to react. So anyway, I mean, that's a big deal if the 7 has to drop to the end, and he'll be complaining to race control that, hey, I didn't have much choice. But on the flip side, if you didn't slam the brakes right at the entrance to pit lane, maybe the 52 wouldn't have rammed him. But I don't know. That's not my area to make a decision on. I just think that's unfortunate for everybody there.
By the way, Jeremy Miller did post to me that it's always been an EOL under yellow. So I don't speed like Jeremy, so I wouldn't know. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't have a lot of experience with the penalty system. It doesn't generally seem all that consistent with what the real world penalties would or could be. Generally beyond things like pit lane speeding, so it's hard to judge.
Either way, I think it's definitely going to mix up how these two race each other, because I'm sure Scioli's not happy about it either.
Oh, no, but he's not dropping to the rear either yet.
I wonder if it's just going to be a situation where they clear it, because, you know, sometimes when black flags are shown, they don't trigger until the green's out, so it might just be a place where they clear it right as they go green. We'll see here. I think either way, Scioli's restarting from second.
Well, let's see what we got. It's going to be 24 laps to the end, and if I was a betting man, I'm taking track position right now because I would expect there to be some yellow flags and some drama at the end of this one. There's just too many trucks still running. Only 3 out from our 43 starters. There are 40 trucks on the racetrack with a 24-lap run to the end at Las Vegas. Yep. I'm taking the over on the yellow flags here on out. Here we go, 97 laps and 24 to go. Green flag back in the air, and Matheson gets a nice jump on Scioli.
Matheson immediately going to go up and work the lanes, work the draft. Scioli does get his black flag cleared, so I guess that's out the window. He will stay second. Now JT Poole is really pinching Nathan Jump to the bottom, and here goes Danny Ware trying to go 3 wide top.
Yeah, this 26 wisely jumped back ahead of him. And there was a lot of drivers that had come back.
Oh, crash, spin in the back, in the middle of the pack, Huge hit. Finally, the caution's out. That was Sean Petchin who took a huge hit, and I think Bryce Senesac, and they're still piling in.
Caution out, 4th time of the night. And Petchin got absolutely just body slammed there.
It's like Austin Gack-Joan got a piece of that as well.
Does it start ahead of him here? It does.
Like
the 65 of Pierce. Oh, man. Other than one of the trucks slid, it was a Gack-Joan that slid back up the track.
Yep. I think that was after just stacking up behind the crash. Shocked what ran him over.
Oh, and he clips Sogak. Yeah. Tom Bourne just came to a stop. He didn't want to be a part of it anymore.
Yeah, that was just stopping for the crash.
No. Stop. Whoa.
Brakes.
I mean, that goes to show you, sometimes when you look at these, it's obvious that a driver had a more opportunity to slow down. I don't think that was the case here. Watch the 16. As soon as he sees something happening right here, he bails, and then big slide on the binder. Stop.
Brakes.
Yeah, it just, you're definitely grip limited there.
Still need to see how that got caused. Didn't really get to see that yet.
Yeah, it's Ben Pierce. Let's go back and see if we can pick up. It's on the outside of the 12. Oh, he just gets loose on his own.
That is honestly shocking. We haven't seen that all night. And he wasn't really with anyone on his bumper either. It just snapped. Kind of like we saw what happened, I think, Delonte Ballard in the Pro Series last week. Just entering the corner, the rear gets light, and he just lost it. That was really odd.
Big time damage for a bunch of trucks in that one. Sean Petchin will likely be effectively done for the night. That's a lot of damage to repair in 20 laps time. So running order on the left, we'll take you through a couple more things here. Race fans, fall is here. It feels like winter in Chicago today. It was snowing. My car was covered in snow when I came out of work today. Before you know it, so will winter. Bundle up this season with shop.areairacing.com and shop from our selections of champion hoodies, jackets, and sweatshirts. Easier to shop, quicker to ship, better to wear. That's shop.areairacing.com. We use an Area iRacing hoodie.
It's going to be like 30 tomorrow here in the morning, so that's going to be fun.
And you're in
It's
South
not
Carolina?
snowing, though. Yeah.
Man, that's cold for South Carolina.
Yeah, it is. I wasn't ready for it.
I almost
I got rid of a lot of sweatpants coming down here.
I almost took a job that would have led me to North Carolina, and I was excited about not having real winters. That sounds like a lie.
It's even colder in Charlotte.
Well,
I think it was like 37 there today, maybe.
Yeah, it wasn't much warmer than that or colder than that here. But I have my, we just unloaded the Grid Life truck. We have a 53-foot trailer that all our stuff for Grid Life transports in. We unloaded that yesterday, so the warehouse is just a mess with all the stuff we got to bag and tag and get set for the off-season. And I parked my FRS in the warehouse in the winter, and there's just nowhere to drive it in right now, so I'm stuck with it outside, driving my rear-wheel drive sports car in the snow with tires that are not optimal for 30-degree weather, and it is just traction control all the time.
Sure, that's a heck of a time.
Yeah, I could drive the Corolla, but I'm going to be stuck with that all winter, so might as well drive the fun car while I can.
Keep the Corolla fresh for the heavy duty type stuff.
I never took the snow tires off last winter, so he's ready to go.
Because when I think Corolla, I think heavy duty.
Yeah, I mean, hey, it is the heaviest duty vehicle I own when you compare it to my FRS and then my Fiesta that's got race suspension and race tires on it that I haven't driven in 8 months. All right, 1 to go. Lights are off this time. Pick me a winner, Connor. This 52 is hard to bet against, but Scioli has been strong as well.
Yeah, I think we're definitely picking between these two. I don't think we're going to have the same thing we had last season where we just had to avoid picking Scioli because it was too obvious. I'm going to go with him, though. I think he'll find a way to get by, but it's going to have to be early in the run because I think if we get the tires worn out, it is only going to be a 19-lap run. But if tires get a little bit worn out and Matheson still has clean air, I don't think you're going to be able to beat him.
I think Matheson is the one to pick here. He's led the most laps tonight. He's in position. He's got track position for the restarts, and should we get, if it's 50-50 shot, we go green or we've got a bunch of yellows. And if you get a bunch of yellows, I'm picking the guy that's out front all the time because of that jump that can preserve that lead. So it'll be a 19-lap run to the end. If we go green from here to the finish, it's only 10 minutes away from now that we'll crown you a winner. And move on to week 3 next week. And of course, make sure you tune in on Thursday for the Area Florida State Builders Pro Series right here from Las Vegas.
You know what a real issue is here for Scioli is that Matheson and Poole are Miller Racing teammates, so he's just completely outnumbered at this point in the race.
Pace car is off, pace truck is off, and 19 laps to go from Las Vegas. Make your bet. A little stack up there on the inside lane, a bit deeper in the field, but we're back underway, accelerating through the gears. Didn't take long for the bottom to form up there. Shane Wolf giving it a shove.
Oh, big crash, turn 1 already.
Piling in there, that's not going to be good.
Oh, man. Senesac again?
60 was in there, Joey Chapman.
Matthew Rodriguez.
And if you're the leader, like I said, Jake Matheson's just ticking away laps, doing much of nothing right now because every time we get one of these restarts, he doesn't have to do a lot here. Jason Dalton in 0-2. I didn't see where it started.
I think it's up ahead. I thought I saw Matthew Rodriguez at the wall first.
0-7.
Valiette.
56.
Oh. Lacadas got some damage.
Where's the 50?
Not AJ Roderick, not tonight.
0-7 is the first one I see turned around, but I didn't get to look at how it started.
Tom Bourne?
battle yet. So let's see where this actually transpires. So I think
I
Therian
guess
up
here.
the middle here. Yep.
Stafford.
Right there.
Looks
Therian
like
in the
they
middle.
just come
Yep.
together.
Tags the 51, sends him around.
Yeah, just ran out of room once again. That one was even slower, where everyone's just converging into the same spot, and they just can't happen. Poor Joey Chapman, he couldn't help coming across the field. He was already out of control.
Here's a look at Joey there. Gets in the back of the 38 real big, then gets rehooked, sent up the hill. And
oh, man. Adam Caps.
yeah, that was big. Well, back under yellow. And we'll see some drivers hit pit lane for crash damage repair. Let's have a look at some stats so far. Race analysis, 9 lead changes. Had 6 yellows now for 17 laps. And coincidentally, we have 17 laps to go. Fastest lap of the race run by Jake Matheson.
Those laps are probably only going to get quicker with the tires not wearing and the night's still settling in here. Still going to get a cooler and cooler track as Dwayne Culberson gets the lucky dog. That still puts us probably at around 36 to 37 trucks on the lead lap still. So that's another thing with this new damage model. Talking about attrition rate, there really is no attrition rate. It's so hard to get yourself wrecked out of a race.
Yeah, that's the key, right? A lot of trucks have been wrecked. Not a lot are still wrecked. So you don't lose trucks. And so the probability that you go yellow from here on to the end is pretty high. And so, like I said, if I'm Jake Matheson, I'm just going to nail these restarts and just get some easy laps led here in the closing stages. If we do go green, then yeah, absolutely, James Scioli is in the catbird seat to win this race. But Matheson has shown a lot of pace regardless, and he's got the track position where I want to be right now.
And he's got a teammate in JT Poole to work the restarts with, so it's going to be really hard to stop those drivers from working together and getting away on the restart, because they're going to restart front row together. They'll get away there. Even if Scioli gets between them, they're still first and third if you get another restart, and then they could just rocket away on the bottom line. So really, just you got to find a way to get JT Poole to like 5th position, because Matheson could just pick the top and work with him if he's restarting 4th.
Well, what's happening on SimTV the next couple of days and weeks? Tomorrow night, the Washington, D.C. region SCCA Virtual Racing League heads to Long Beach, California with Porsche Cup machinery and touring cars. That'll be tomorrow at 8:15 Eastern time right here on SimTV. That'll be a fun one. 30-minute race. It'll be frantic on the streets of Long Beach. Then on Thursday night, the Area Florida State Builders Pro Series heads right here to Las Vegas to complete their week 2 of racing. And we're off this weekend. Typically, we'd have MTech Endurance Series action, but won't return there until the 10 Hours of Silverstone on November 18th. We'll be back right here next week with racing from Phoenix as we do our West Coast swing here in the Area Series. So that's what's happening here the next couple of days. Some road racing tomorrow and oval racing until we head to Road Atlanta next week with the DC Region SCCA Virtual Racing League. So not a lot of road racing at the moment, but plenty of oval action to take in here. If you have not subscribed yet, please do so and make sure that you're tuning in here and at twitch.tv/area iRacing, and make sure to get those channel points on the Twitch side. Use those to get yourself some Area iRacing merch. 14 laps will be the run to the end here, Connor, as we get 1 to green.
You gotta hope if you're Scioli or Nathan jumped anywhere, you want this to go green so badly. You needed to go green now, because to the end. If you get another 5 laps and have another yellow, you're pretty much out of time. It's going to be almost impossible to make a pass happen in a short amount of time with how full throttle it's going to be. So I think if I'm anyone besides Jake Matheson, you want this run to go to the very end.
JT Poole is going to restart on the outside of the front row. And the last couple of times, the leader has gotten a really big jump. Tell me about that restart system here, Connor. You know more about it than I do as far as how it's implemented. Is it easier or harder to keep pace on a restart now?
I personally think it's a little bit harder because you can't jump the leader whatsoever. If you get a gap, you go too fast compared to the pace speed, you get a penalty. If you go before the leader, get a penalty. If you're ahead of the leader when he goes, it's a penalty. So there's a lot less games you can play to keep yourself even with the race leader. The one thing that can really help in this case, though, is when you have a teammate to lean on, like JT Poole has Jake Matheson to lean on here. It makes it still possible to stay with the leader because he's your teammate. You'll count it down for you, but if you don't have a teammate to do that with, it is so much more tough to keep up.
14 laps to the end here from Las Vegas, and green flag back in the air. Poole sliding the tires, could not get the power down on the restart.
3 and 4 wide in the back already. They are 4 wide with Shane Therian on the bottom. They kept it straight for now.
Curhan was in the middle of that as well. He cycled to the bottom. They're going to be 4 wide again. Braxton Deweese is in the middle of that. 3 wide, going to go to the bottom. Car bouncing off the fence. That's the 74 of Ryan Nowicki. We haven't mentioned him once tonight. He's been lurking. Big pack of cars and trucks off of turn 4.
Scioli had a shot at Poole, but couldn't make the move. Now Poole's just going to push to 52 in the turn number 1. Not really making an attempt to pass him there.
Now sticking in with them on the bottom. Still 3 wide mid-pack here. I think if we have trouble, it's going to come in this shape. Big defensive move from Michael Curhan down the back straightaway. He had his mirror packed full of Bronson Stafford. And trouble. 31 sideways. Everybody scatters.
Tom Bourne slides. I don't know how they did that once again. I'm sure it's not done.
Mason Kane goes for a slide. But we're through for now.
For now is the key word, as those top 3, Matheson, Poole, Scioli, are all bumper to bumper. Scioli's trying to find somewhere to go. Poole's blocking him down to the white line. Scioli's just having to go to the top. Poole's going to go way bottom.
And he tried to get overlap on the 52. It didn't work. Scioli now has Nathan jump to the inside. And Danny Ware in the 49. Where did he come from? Fambro in the mix as well. 11 laps to go from Las Vegas.
Not what Scioli needed. He did not need to be in this battle, but it'll give JT Poole maybe a little bit more breathing room to battle Matheson for this race lead, but he is sticking bottom. I think he's just trying to get the 52's rear tires loosened up to really have a tire advantage. They're going to go 3 wide maybe if Poole isn't careful.
Yeah, he kind of needs to protect that outside lane, because if someone gets to the quarter panel, he's just going to get sucked right back into that fight in the rear view that he doesn't want to be a part of. He needs to stay clear no matter what, if it's top or bottom. James Shane Wolf wants a piece of this as well. He's not going to get a lot of room down there on the apron.
He went all the way to the grass, basically, to make that move work. Now Scioli's in that middle lane. He's back to the right rear of JT Poole, and you'll have a run with a push from Danny Ware at a turn number 2. Now Matheson should be trying to break the draft a little bit between these 2 lines, but he's going to let Scioli almost get to his right rear.
If Scioli gets to the high side, this might be the race. 9 laps to go this time through. And here comes Jump, Shane Wolf, and Travis Beckner. Wasn't he crashed earlier in this race?
Big swoop to the top side. Scioli is to the right rear of Matheson. Poole gave a shot to the 52's back bumper. And those bumps are really going to play a factor. Matheson's going to block top.
Yeah, that was a big slide. He's crashed. Big slide out of turn 2 off the bumper. And I don't know how he didn't crash that truck.
But he kind of saw that coming. He knew he had to block Scioli's lane, and it was just too late. And you know Scioli was not going to lift there. Now the 7's in the lead. He got clear of JT Poole.
8 laps to go. We'll go back and look at that one later. We bookmarked it. Scioli, Poole, Ware, Fambro.
Now it's really just been dominance from the 52 and 7. Does JT Poole have anything for Scioli? He's going to get to his inside, but I think Scioli's fine with that. Look at the blocking behind him.
Wow, that was tight between Shane Wolf and the 9.
Oh, Scioli's loose.
Here comes JT Poole to the lead. Nose to tail, side by side for the top spot. They touch! And Poole spins in front of the field. He gets clobbered.
Bronson Stafford had nowhere to go. Oh, they're piling up in the back. Adam Capps, Curhan, Ryan Swan.
The 61 of Bronson Stafford is absolutely destroyed.
That was a bit ugly.
Wow. That changed everything. Just gotta find where everyone landed.
I don't know how James Scioli didn't. He got very, very fortunate.
We'll go back a little further to even pick up the beginning of this. That's how long ago it was. Waiting for it all to end. Have a look from high above here. Was this off the bumper or where? Oh yeah, it was.
It looked like it's so hard to know where you are. Stafford had nowhere to go. It's so hard to know where you are when you're tucked in behind someone. It's easy to happen to anywhere. I think lost track of where he was, and JT Poole was just nothing he can do there.
Yeah, Stafford really got the worst of this. He clobbers the 26, and he comes down the racetrack across the road here, and then watch this. He's going to go head on into this. He's got no steering, slams the concrete there. That's a nasty hit. See the 0.5 and the 20 get together. There's Curhan, just tries to steer to miss it. But that was a hellacious impact there for Stafford.
Scioli, right after the yellow, said his headset died, so good luck if we're 3 wide. Jake Matheson replied with, "You're lucky I can drive."
Got the 65 of Pierce that just had Stafford sling across the front of him here. No, that wasn't Pierce. Who was that? That just missed. Oh, it was the 21, I think, a Wineland. No, that's not the one I'm thinking of. Who's that truck in the white and blue?
Is that Brannigan? No. On the very bottom?
No, the white and
it's
blue.
Another powerhouse truck.
The 71.
Sam Fontaine.
Yeah, let's get it on board with Sam Fontaine. He ended up 13th after all this. Here's what he saw.
Whew. Oh, man. Lucky. Fortunate Stafford didn't have steering left. He might have came right back up as the caution is called on Danny Ware.
Yep,
unfortunate. Not surprising, but it is unfortunate because that was a wacky battle right there.
Braxton DeWeese has had a heck of a night too. Back up to 16th. His highest he ran was 14th, which was much earlier in the race. And this truck has been through the ringer once or twice tonight.
Shocking, he was able to stay on the lead lap after that spin he had that didn't bring out a caution. 16th place. Also, I think Adam Capps is getting an EOL for not hitting the brakes for that crash enough.
So, we're getting real close to the end of this race, Connor. Once we restart, this is not going to be a green-white checkered. At least not a, well, it's going to be a 2 laps to go restart, but it is not going to count towards our green-white checkered total, of which we will get 1 attempt. This will not count to that. So we're going to get 2 laps to go. If we get a caution, we will restart 1 time. But if we go that lap, we get to the white, the race is, it will finish under green. And I'll tell you another driver that's probably not super upset about the yellow flag is Jake Matheson. He's going to get another chance to move forward. I just don't think that he's going to be able to move 7th to 1st without some dramas up ahead. But I wouldn't bet against that, the tail end of a Las Vegas race in the trucks.
Yeah, and you know, judging off of his response to James in the chat, he would love to get back to the 7. Just like you said, I don't think he's going to be able to. Unless, like
actually,
you said.
That reminds me. Well, we've got a moment.
Yeah,
let's go back and have a look at that incident. So this was through 1 and 2. Now watch the 52. I think he's probably going to slide up the hill here, right there. Kind of does the block on the 7, and Scioli just didn't lift. And that's, you know, frankly, that's Scioli's power, right? He just doesn't have to lift. The 52 slid up the track, did kind of throw a bit of a block on him there, so I don't think the 7 did anything wrong. Does the 52 still get to be mad at him? Sure, but I just don't know that I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do that if I was the 7, right?
Oh yeah, I see it both ways. If I'm Jake Matheson, I'm completely upset.
Oh yeah,
I was
absolutely.
clear.
Yeah, for sure.
Like if I'm in that point of view, I was clear. You could have easily lifted and had a clean race. You chose not to, so I will definitely bookmark that. But from Scioli's view, you barely cleared me anyways. You were out of control in front of me trying to get in front of me. You saw how the 52 swooped up.
Yep.
He was very out of control trying to make that block work. So how late in the race it's been, and especially after the incident pit entry, Scioli might be having an issue with that as well. I'm not shocked at all that he didn't lift. I probably, if I'm in Scioli's shoes, I probably would have done the same thing.
It just depends on which driver you are in that incident.
It's all about perspective.
Totally, because again, like you said, it's both ways for me, right? Was he clear? Yeah. Does that give you the ability to be 10 miles an hour slower in that lane and do it a half a second before that driver is going to get there? Maybe not. But that's all part of racing, right? So that was a risk, a calculated risk that the 52 took, and it didn't work out. And that's what this is all about. And I've always said, you know, as far as blocking goes in road racing series, there's rules against it. But NASCAR, it's self-policing. You want to throw that block, go for it. You just might end up in the fence.
You live and die by the block. We're going to see that all season long as well. It's not going to last time it's going to happen, but like you said, Matheson knew the risks. That's the risk you take when that happens in the race for the win.
Pace truck pulls off, 2 laps to go. If we get a yellow, we'll get 1 chance to restart it. If we go a lap, This race is official. Green flag, 2 laps to go from Las Vegas.
Bottom didn't go, top didn't go either.
Will we even get to turn 1?
Oh no, their guy's on the apron.
Tom Bourne's down there. We're 4 wide. Curhan's in the middle of that. 38 and 02 get together, but this is going to get wild. Down the backstretch, there's no way that we don't have a yellow here.
Nathan Jump's got a run on Scioli. He's on his right rear, and he might have a push from Travis Beckner at a 4.
Here we go. If we can get a couple hundred more feet, we're racing this out. White flag waving. Can we get there? We will. 1 lap to go at Las Vegas.
Look at Matheson. He put Shane Wolf to the middle, to the bottom, 3 wide. Nathan Jump's going to take the lead.
3 wide for second place. Nathan Jump might steal one. Look at Beckner on the outside. Can anybody get clear to do battle with Nathan Jump, or will he drive to victory here at Vegas?
He's weaving the lanes now. They're 3 wide behind him. As long as he has a smooth 3 and 4, he has got this one.
Not going to get there. Nathan Jump rockets out of turn 4. The 28 and 7 get together. They bounce off. The 7 spins. Checkered flag. Nathan Jump gets there first. Checkered flag. And it'll be a mess into turn 1 with trucks in the fence.
And James Scioli is not going to be happy about how that one played out, but what a move from Nathan Jump to make that work. That was an incredible move on the top.
Where did he come from?
Scioli finishes 19th.
That was a wild one. There's Travis Beckner, comes home in 4th. Jake Matheson got back to 3rd place in all that right at the end. We're going to watch... We're going to watch Nathan's burnout, and then we'll go back and show you everything that happened, as well as the final and full results. He stole that one, though, Connor. This Fazekas truck was in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, that was just, it played out perfectly for him. And I think Scioli and Matheson not working together well ended up working in Jump's favor, because Matheson absolutely shoved James Shane Wolf to the apron under Scioli, and Scioli couldn't block it, and that was the race right there when they got 3 wide behind Nathan Jump.
How about Travis Beckner salvaging a top 5 out of the night? Colin Fambrough top 5. Cameron Hearn
6.
Yeah, some much needed luck in the 4 camp.
Brannigan 7th. Right. I don't know where Cameron Hearn.
Braxton DeWeese 15th. That special livery on board. Nathan Jump gets it done. Let's first look back at the finish, and then we'll go back at the battle for the lead. Well, I guess this is going to be it anyway, but let's do this first then. So out of turn 4, the 9's on the high side. The 0-1 of Shane Wolf goes for it here to the inside of the 7, gets down there, and then the 9 just gets a shove from the 28, and that just rockets him forward.
Yeah, once the 0-1 got 3 wide and Nathan Jump was able to clear him, that was the race done right there. They're just all stacking up, 3 wide side drafting. He was clear from there. He didn't really need to work the lanes. He just needed a better arc into 3, and that's all he needed.
And right near the 7. Matheson
look at Matheson, gave him the door, and I am not surprised about that. And Scioli couldn't hold on to it.
And 19th place for Scioli there. Man, that was a big hit.
Number of big hits.
Yeah, right
and
here.
I am sure things are going to be said between those two.
I bet. Back up the road, and then right there gets clobbered by the 74. And then the 51 gets into the driver's side of that. Man, there's some big impacts there.
I only took about 3 of them.
Yep. So all that aside, let's have a look at our race results and show you where everyone panned out in that chaotic finish. Nathan Jump in a Ford. Been a while since we've seen one of those in victory lane. And second place is a Ford. No Toyotas in the top 10 after all that. Jump, Shane Wolf, Matheson, Beckner, and Colin Fambrough, your top 5. Then Hearn, Brannigan Jr., Wineland, Mitchell, and Jacob Bell, the rest of your top 10, Connor.
Yeah, Jacob Bell started dead last. Him to get a top 10 is really good. Wineland back up to 8th. He was involved in some crashes. Cameron Hearn, he was in the back all night long and got all the way back up to 6th. And Fambrough, he ran up front a lot of the race, something we haven't seen from him as of late, but a good, solid top 5 day for him. Yeah,
Gary Waterworth 11th. David Weishart comes home 14th. Didn't really see a lot of him after that kind of mid-portion of the race. Braxton DeWeese fought through a nightmare tonight with a couple incidents that he was involved in, was able to rocket back to 15th. First Toyota was Weishart in 14th place, then Scioli and Matthew Rodriguez.
And Weishart was crashed earlier in the race, so he came back from that as well to get 14th. And Sogak was running top 3 early on, only got 17th. And like you said, there's Scioli. After another good run, just like at Daytona, he does not get the finish he deserved. And this one hurts even more because he was about, 200 feet away from at least the top 5.
Yeah, that's a painful one. Casey Lakatos, late entry, 21st place, not so bad. Shane Darian down in 24th, not the night he was looking for. Then here's the list of drivers that wish they had better nights. JT Poole in particular, that driver, the number 26 Chevy, that did not work out for him. Austin Gak-Joan, Sean Petchin with that big crash we saw. Kyle Sieg, Brad Slaughter Jr., John Hall, then the did not start of Gatlin Downey. So there's your race results. Let's talk to Jake Matheson. Winner last night, third tonight, led the most laps, was in position to maybe win this race, Jake, but it slipped away that it almost slipped back in your favor at the very end. Take us through your night, and especially that last 25 laps when everything kind of got turned upside down.
Well, first off, absolutely crazy race. I mean, it was hard to hold the lead. Like, everyone was coming in with a draft, and it made the race super exciting and super diverse. I had a lot of fun. Leading all those laps kind of made it easy at first, but the end of the race there when you had to kind of put your elbows up and get after it. I mean, I had a ton of fun. All my teammates had a ton of fun. And just real good time.
Yeah, it seemed like between you and Scioli, it got a little heated at times. There was a little push and shove. We saw that big defensive move leaving turn 2, and then the huge save that you had coming off of 2. Take us through those moments there, because it seemed pretty intense between you two.
I haven't looked at the off turn 2 quite yet, so
show
I
it to
can't
you.
really.
Here we go.
I could pull it up. All right, let's see it. I know I made a mid-corner adjustment, which was a rather aggressive. Right here, yeah. Well, yeah, I guess that's kind of a racing deal. I mean, I'm coming up in front of him. He's full throttle, and, these things are already a little bit, sketchy when you're bumper to bumper, so can't put too much blame on him on there. Just hard racing, and, sure it made a spectacle to watch.
I'll tell you what, it was a spectacle, Jake. Hey, congrats. 2 podiums on the night. Are you running the Florida State Builders Pro Series on Thursday, too?
I'm not, actually. I was talking to Dawson Miller about that earlier, about possibly maybe doing a couple starts in that. I do like the Xfinity car, so I can look forward to maybe doing a couple of those later in the season.
Well, it's been a strong week here at Las Vegas, Jake. Thanks for talking to us, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, thank you, guys. Just real quick, I want to say thank you to Calusa Pines, Miller Racing, Area Shop, Huckett Films, Splash and Go, all the guys that help us get to the racetrack every week. We had a bad, fast Chevy truck, so can't wait to see it next week.
Jake Matheson, third place tonight in the 52, Jake. Thanks.
Thank you, guys.
And second place tonight, it was James Shainwolf that almost stole one away in the closing moments there. Almost got it down to the inside of Scioli and almost went to the lead, but almost only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades. Doesn't get you very far in Las Vegas, James. Second place, though, almost had the win. Take us through that restart and that frantic run there up to the front after starting this race in 40th place. P2 doesn't seem so bad, does it?
Yeah, no, man. I forgot we do one lap qualifying now, man. So I ripped the lip on the first lap, just trying to build momentum up, and I was coming to what I thought was going to be the white flag and seeing the checkered, and was like, yeah, this is going to be a long night. And we were able to fight through it, man. That last restart was wild. Everybody's just fighting for the bottom. That's everybody still had fresh tires for the most part. You could pretty much stick the truck anywhere and keep it there. So I knew it was going to be a mad scramble for the inside, and I just tried to keep it down on the white line, man, and hope nobody would be able to get under me.
Well, it was a job well done there. A couple Fords in the top 5. We haven't really seen a lot of those up in the front yet. Seems underutilized, but you got up in there into second spot, and just the craziness of the restarts, and really all night long after the restarts, it seemed like there was just so little places to go. How easy was it to maneuver through the field, through traffic, or were you just kind of stuck in whatever line you picked?
If you like the beginning of the race, I think I went from 40th to the first run. I went from 40th to like 24th before the first run pit stop. So I was able to pick them off pretty good. Then the tires kind of leveled out, and then it got kind of hard to pass. But on fresh tires, if you wanted to be aggressive, you could make moves happen. If you were trying to save tires, you really couldn't. But It just depended on where you wanted to be fast at. If you want to be fast at the beginning or the end, because the tires kind of leveled out for everybody to where you were at is where you were at. We had a couple green flag runs like that, but for the most part, it was short runs and trying to get as much as you can get in them short runs. So it seemed to play the hand of the more aggressive people tonight, being aggressive on the short runs.
James, thanks for talking to us. Congratulations on a nice top 5 here tonight at Las Vegas, and we'll see you next week.
Yes, sir. Thank you all. Real quick shout out to Elite Entertainment. Thank you to Adam for bringing me back this season, man. I missed you guys last season, and feels good to be back up here in the broadcast booth talking to you guys already, and hopefully we get to do it a lot more.
Yeah, usually it's a good sign things are going right. 0-1 finishes second tonight. James, thanks for talking. And let's bring now our race winner, Nathan Jump. Gets it done here at Las Vegas. Absolutely picks the pocket of the front runners tonight in the late going there, Nathan. You had a really strong night. Started 13th and really were up front in the top 5, in the top 10 all night long. But on that last restart, things just got haywire. And here you come with a shove from Travis Beckner around the outside, and you steal one in your number 9 Ford F-150. What's going through your mind right now? This was a frantic race, but to have everyone in the rear view coming out of turn 4 had to feel awesome.
What's up, fam? Well, first off, that felt great. And before anything, I need to shout out Dom DeLeo for letting me even be up in here. And, man, I was kind of just riding there for a bit. Got lucky with that caution right after I pit, so I didn't have to come back down. But I was kind of looking forward to this one. I was drinking some Captain Morgan before the race, feeling like the man. And I had a good time out there. I got lucky, but it was a good confidence boost. I was riding up there with Jake Matheson, Scioli, Beckner. Don't know too many dudes around here, but I know they're fast.
Well, it's going to lock you into the playoffs as well. So does this shift your focus at all heading forward in the season that you got one this early? Can you focus on anything else?
I don't know, man. Maybe I should just try to go get another one. I still got a lot to learn. I know that. So maybe I just keep going consistently and see what I really got here to fill myself out.
Well, you might have a lot to learn, Nathan, but tonight you taught the class at the end there. Nice run, nice win. Congratulations. And you head home from Vegas with some hardware on your shelf. Congratulations.
Yes, sir. Thank you for the broadcast and Fazekas Motorsports, NAI, DeLeo Brom, Fame Construction, Flash Picks, all them dudes. Appreciate them supporting me.
Thanks, Nathan. We'll see you next time.
See you.
And Connor, as we were talking to him, pulled up the replay of the 26 going around, and he was involved in that collision there with the 26. Here's his onboard in that earlier crash with the 26. Got some damage from this, but it did not hold him back. He was able to go on and steal a win from the 7, from the 52, pick the pocket, and goes home with one here at Las Vegas. What a job well done.
Yeah, job well done, and it's just pretty on brand for how wild this race was. The action was intense from the very first lap. We saw 3 and 4 wide all night long, and I didn't think it could get crazier than what we saw season 4, and it definitely did, and then some. As you could look at another look at our race results with some drivers like Scioli not getting the finishes they deserved. It was just intense. We're going to get more of that at Phoenix. We're going to pack it. I believe the trucks go to Phoenix next week. All of these trucks, once again, 40 plus, packing into that smaller track. It's going to get even more wild, I would say.
We go to Phoenix for the Florida State Builders Pro Series and the Cup Series, but we're headed to Kentucky next week
for another mile and a half.
The Truck Series. So, yeah, kind of more of the same, maybe a little bit different. I've actually been to Kentucky in a long time here on SimTV, so maybe looking forward to that one. It's been a couple of years, I think, since we've gone there. And then Atlanta following week 4, then Milwaukee, which is a shorter track. Then we go road racing in week 6 a couple weeks from now before heading to Charlotte, Darlington, Michigan. This is a really 1.5 mile heavy season. So if you're good at that, if you're Nathan Jump, James Shane Wolf, the 7, the 52, you're going to be in good shape, Connor. So all that aside, that was fun. Final thoughts here on Vegas before we head to Kentucky next week.
Just a wild one for sure, and we're going to, like you said, 1.5 mile heavy season, so we're going to see a lot more of that crazy action with draft coming into play, and track position is going to be key, and just getting your elbows out, like Jake Matheson said. We saw the elbows get out between him and Scioli, and we could see more of that in just a week.
One more week, and we go racing at Kentucky. Make sure you tune into the Florida State Builders Pro Series on Thursday night right here from Las Vegas. Kyle Heyer alongside Connor Horn, and we'll see you with Finian DeCuna on Thursday for the 3rd race of the week at Las Vegas. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.